This is a story I wanted to talk to you about. When I was the last night I was in San Francisco, I was watching CNN. Maybe it was Friday night, and Larry King Live was on, and he had Shirley MacLaine. Now, Shirley MacLaine, I always hear Patricia, who of course is older than I am. She's seen more of Shirley MacLaine, has seen more of her career, and just knows more about her. And Patricia always says, "Oh man, she's kooky. She's really nuts." And I recall that she had this thing about UFOs. And the whole discussion was about UFOs and these pilots, these ex-military pilots who are now all stepping forward and saying, we really feel the government, there's no reason anymore to hide the fact that they exist. They're here all the time. We understand that there would have been mass panic 40 years ago if people had, knew that there were UFOs. But look, they exist. I've seen them. And even Dennis... what's the candidate's name? Kucinich. He admitted on stage in one of the debates when he was asked directly, have you ever seen a UFO? And he says, yeah, I've seen a UFO, which, of course, what a fucking loaded question that is, just to make the guy look foolish. But this is, there's something happening here. I'm not quite sure where it's coming from, but it was, Shirley MacLaine, these ex-military pilots, on Larry King. I'm like, there's something real here. At least something real about someone
leading up to some phony baloney special.
No. You don't think so?
Yeah, that would never happen on CNN or any of these TV stations. No, in fact, I was looking at the blog to see if there's anything that came up in the recent stories that some guys are bringing down. I did find it interesting. There was and people can check this out. It was posted on the 24th, whenever you hear the show, 24th of November. Let me just read about this. There's a couple of American cosmologists, guys who study this kind of deep physics, investigating the consequences of the cosmos of quantum theory, the most successful theory, blah, blah, blah. And they said there's an odd feature of the theory that philosophers and scientists still argue about. And in a nutshell, the theory suggests that we change things simply by looking at them. And theorists have puzzled over the implications of this. So in other words, they're thinking, you're looking at outer space and you're watching something blow up. You're actually somehow, because of quantum theory, you're
making it happen.
Somehow.
You're making it happen.
Which now makes sense when you go to Oakland and these big black guys, you look at and say, what are you looking at? Because they know that you're screwing with them. Just by looking at them.
Okay, John. Nice.
That's my story.
You better be sticking to it.
We should have a "What are you looking at" website.
What are we going to do this week? I got like
but wait. Let me give you one more story. I got to bring this up now that I think about it.
Okay.
Okay. Now you got to go to John Walker's the guy who started AutoCAD, Autodesk, right?
Okay.
And he moved to Switzerland some years ago for whatever reason, and he gave up his American citizenship and he's Swiss. And he has a really weird website that you're going to have to do some research to find. It's called Fornilab or something like that. .ch. And he has this. There's a theory about some sort of reverse time kinesis, and he has a whole bunch of information about this, and which says something. And I don't know the exact name of the thing because I wasn't prepared, but it goes like this: if I don't know the college score of a game that just ended, and I meditate long enough that it's a certain score, and then I finally go look up the score, it will be that score. I will have changed the score in time, in the space-time continuum.
Oh, I'm all for that. I got some meditating. I'm looking at it right now. It's Fornilab.ch.
That's it. So, but anyway, so I'm thinking when I read this thing about quantum theory and it's the fact that if you look at something, you change it. I'm thinking, hey, maybe it's possible. We could do something with the University of California Bears, perhaps. But unfortunately, I already know the score, so it's too late.
Well, why don't we do something really big and have mass meditation?
But we don't. We have to not know what happened in the first place and make it happen. Some funny way. Read the article that he has posted there on this crazy idea, and I think it's crackpot. By the way, for anyone who out there really wants to know how I feel, it's nuts. But I think it's kind of fun nuts.
Oh, wait a minute. Where do I find this on his site? Because I see this is his website. Is that what this is?
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. What's it? Fornilab. F-O, how you spell it for me?
Foxtrot, Oscar, Uniform, Romeo, Mike, India, Lima, Alpha, Bravo, Dot, Charlie, Hotel. It's like one of those old school hardcore hacker Unix HTML 1.0 websites.
Yeah, no, this really kind of...
I know exactly what kind of guy this is when I see his site.
Yeah, it's kind of actually the thing itself is pathetic. Let's see. I think it would be under either consciousness. On the left-hand side, he's got this little sidebar.
Yeah. And
it's either under consciousness studies or nanotechnology. I think that's what it is. Let me look there first. Yeah, there it is. Retro-psychokinesis project. Right at the top. And I'll read this for people out there listening to the show. Retro-psychokinesis is the claimed ability of certain subjects to alter random data generated but not examined prior to the time the data are presented to the subject. Crazy, you say? Well, there's certainly no mechanism in mainstream physics which would permit such an effect, although I think now that this quantum thing might. Yet experiments conducted by a number of different researchers over the past 20 years suggest compellingly, according to some analysis, that the probability of the results obtained in such experiments, obviously Walker's not a writer, being purely the result of chance is sufficiently low that they would be considered evidence of causal mechanism in most scientific disciplines, blah, blah, blah. So anyway.
What the hell did that mean, John?
It means that there may be something to it.
I see the probability pipe organ at the bottom of the page. I'm so down. I'm gonna play the pipes, and we'll compare notes next week.
Well, and maybe users out there can check this out and send us or leave a message on your machine again, and we'll put them on the air. I talked a little bit about this last week or the week before about retro-psychokinesis.
Yeah, right. This is the guy who moved to Switzerland. I did look into it just a little bit, but not
John Walker.
Right,
John Walker is a character. Anyway, he's up in the mountains or somewhere. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere buried somewhere in Switzerland. Anyway, we mentioned this. So this guy went and looked at this, and I didn't even realize there were a couple of these experiments. I didn't know they were on there, and I'm glad he sent me this note. Because there's an experiment you can do with a random number generator that that at some level you can, by thinking about it, can affect the outcome.
Right, and the idea that, because I did see that, they have these like Java applets, and you can send that to someone, and then they can generate a number randomly, but you can determine what it is.
Right, it makes the thing swing back and forth. Now, let me just read you what this guy says, not too long. So, Greg Hampton says, John, I discovered Formulab, blah, 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 experiments a few years ago and tried some of the experiments, but never got any statistically significant results. One day, a couple of years ago, I decided to have my 4-year-old grandson try the pendulum experiment. And people out there want to check this out, you can go to Formulab, which is www.formulab.ch. And then you could dig around and you'll find these experiments. Anyway, he says, I decided to have my 4-year-old grandson try the pendulum experiment, and he had the thing banging up against one side like crazy, and his results were off the charts. I just stood there in shock watching. Maybe it's all a bunch of hooey, and his performance was some kind of weird coincidence, but I'll never forget how exciting it was to watch. You should try a couple of the experiments. I tried the pendulum one myself, and I have a sense that something would change.
How does it work? What is the pendulum experiment exactly?
Well, the pendulum experiment is a random number generator that rocks a pendulum back and forth in some very standardized way, and supposedly because of retro-psychokinesis, and I have to tell everybody that I think a lot of this is malarkey, but there are some people that can go to a crap table and win, and there's a lot of random numbers in the world. The way the world works, it's a random number generator in a lot of different ways, and I don't know. I'm not buying into this, but I think it's interesting and people should check it out. But anyway, you can get this thing to move around in ways that it shouldn't be moving if you concentrate in a funny kind of a way.
So you do that, you concentrate, and then it happens before your very eyes?
You have to, the way I read it and the way it seems to maybe work, although it could all be a coincidence, like he says, is that you have to imagine the thing doing something before it actually happens. In other words, you're not trying to make it move. You don't say, oh, move, like the old guy who's going, woo, make the paper lift. I'm going to levitate, that kind of thing. It's something else. It's some other way of doing it.
Well, that's the kinesis part. That's the muscle you have to train.
But it's like you don't pay real at least the way it seems to me is you don't really pay close attention to it. It's just almost a background task, and people should ought to check it out and see what they think. I mean, I think it's, generally speaking, malarkey, and any effects I had.
But John, isn't this the same thing as the old adages of people saying, if you act successful, you will be successful, and isn't it that type of behavior?
See, I'm going to argue against that, because my feeling about that sort of thing, which is I believe that's true to a large extent, but I think there's a milieu aspect to that. In other words, if you hang out with a certain class of people, you will develop kinds of body language and nonverbal communication skills you don't even know you have, and then you will become part of that group. Swimming with the sharks is part of that. Right. And so if you're, depending, like you were criticizing me for holding my fork in this peculiar way a couple of weeks ago.
Have I had an effect on you? Have you become part of my group now of the people who hold the fork properly?
Yeah, the effete group from Holland.
The Emily Post group? No, man, that's no. That's Emily Post. I know how to hold my fork. You hold it like a baboon.
Anyway, so the point is, there's milieu communication that takes place, and I think a lot of it has to do with what you're describing is that, and I don't think that has anything to do with retro-psychokinesis, where you can go supposedly or theoretically or maybe to a crap table in Vegas and
imagine that it's going to hit number 36, or I'm sorry, number 2. And in the future, and then it actually happens.
Yeah, which would be craps. But anyway, so
yeah, right. Sorry.
So anyway, people should just look at it. But Walker's got his site has always been kind of interesting because he's a acquisitive person. He's likes to look into things, and I think he's semi-bored. I sent him a couple of notes once. He actually sent me a nasty note when I accused him of leaving the country to avoid taxes. He sent me this nasty note, and and I sent him an apology, and then I sent him something else once, and then he stopped communicating with me. So he's I don't think he's like necessarily receptive to normal people. The guy's worth a fortune, but
he's probably having a good time.
I was in Switzerland a few times, and I was going to say, "Hey, let me stop by." I don't even know
hang out. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe people said you don't want to hang out with the guy.
But it looks like those that research he did into What is it? Retro-psychokinesis. Looks like he stopped doing that a couple of years ago. I mean, all the stuff is still there, but it doesn't look like there's any new entries.
Yeah, I noticed that. I don't know if he gave up on it.
All right, so now I have to do I download this pendulum thing? Is that what?
No, it's a Java app. It runs on the machine. You have a decent machine.
Oh, okay, cool.
Run it on a machine that's got some power, because it'll be able to suck your brain better.
Will it run on my Mac?
It might. Mac runs Java apps. Sure, it should. It's mostly Java. It's like a JavaScript app. It's not like, I think.
Oh, so I guess I'm gonna spend the weekend doing some retro-psychokinesis.
Yeah. Well, the one to do is to stop it. You can actually stop the pendulum if you try hard enough.
But could you imagine what could I do with that power? Let's say, because
Nothing.
Wait a minute. I'm pretty good at, and I'm a believer in stuff like this. So let's say I'm able to, dude. If I can do this pendulum thingy by like Monday, we're so going to fucking Vegas. We are so going. We're out of here Monday night. We're in Vegas. Just got to be back Tuesday morning for a meeting. Otherwise, it's cool.
Yeah, Vegas beckons for this kind of thing. I believe, I actually win a little bit, not a lot. I don't think anyone can, but I do quite well on video poker machines. For two,
really?
There's two reasons. One, I know which poker machines to look for. People don't realize that all those poker machines, and some of them playing the exact same game, have totally different payouts.
Right.
And you want to look for one specific payout. I can't remember the exact number. I always look it up before I go for some reason. But anyway, if you go on the internet, look at best payout video poker machine, they'll tell you the ones to look for.
Right.
And you find those, because the other ones nickel and dime you to death just enough so you can't quite win.
Can't quite get there, and it's called like dealing. It's heating up in the UK over flying saucers.
Flying saucers are hot right now. In fact, Larry King, I've been flipping through the channels. This is nothing.
Did
on
he have
TV.
Shirley MacLaine on again?
No, he's got these. He's done at least 3 shows that I know of where he has these flying saucer experts.
Yeah, and they're ex-military, and Shirley MacLaine was on with a couple of them. I think must have been maybe half a year ago. I happened to catch it.
Well, that's one way to
Well, but Shirley MacLaine comes across as kind of kooky.
Kind of.
Yeah, but I think she's intelligent. And there's Dennis Kucinich. Yeah, see, there you go. You're
vegan.
Yeah, but now you're calling people crackpots for having said they saw UFOs. There was a UK police helicopter that chased one. They say we chased a UFO, and this was only a couple weeks ago. And it went out to sea, and then they continued with their pursuit, and they had to give up because they ran out of fuel. Essentially, they had to go back. But they said, "Hey, it was a UFO. I don't care what you say. It was a UFO. We were tracking
like the one guy in the last night's show. They had the bunch of these guys, including a guy from. The way King does it is he has 2 of the UFO. Really the guys that are they're credible, but they're a little out there, and then you have a couple of guys who are skeptics, and the one guy made this a very good comment. Says, look, why, with all these cameras out there, how come nobody's ever gotten a good picture?
Because they're all using iPhones with 2 megapixel cameras.
I'm just saying, where's the good picture? And, like a good picture, they're always just blurry things done with a little dot on a screen. And look, there it is. And it's like a little white thing flying around. I mean, it could be some kid with a model airplane.
I would call it, go to YouTube or better yet, Google Video and look for something called the Disclosure Project, it's a video from 2000. And the Disclosure Project was this entire panel of, it must have been 20 guys, all ex-military, ex-pilots, ex-NSA, ex-CIA, retired, most of them, and several of them who did air traffic control radar. And I'll say, look, we're tracking an object at 80,000 feet, which is pretty high, and we could just see it stop. We could see it hover. We could see it make a 90-degree left-hand turn. It says there's no doubt about it. That was nothing earthly that was making those moves. And the point of the Disclosure Project is they all go up there. They state their case. They've got all have their own stories or their own proof, and each of them ends by saying, my name is Lieutenant General so-and-so, retired, and I'm willing to testify about these facts before Congress. That was kind of what the Disclosure Project was.
Well, the other comment that somebody made is, why these aliens have all this technology. Why doesn't one of them just, stop in the, take a stop in one of the heliports and get out and
the theories. I mean, there's many theories why. The prevalent one being that this did happen. This is part of what Roswell was all about, and there was contact, and the governments of the world
shot him,
shot the fucker down. But the governments of the world have been in contact, and they have a deal. They gave us technology. We give them babies to eat and blood to drink. I mean, come on, you've read these theories.
Strawberry ice cream is one of the things they like. So
really, I haven't come across that one yet.
Oh yeah, that's in there. Believe me. And anyway, so the thing is, there's a trend right now because in that, the UK has released their UFO files. The French did it back in, I think they were the first to do it back in March. And then I think the UK did it since then. And then the French didn't get much publicity for theirs, but everybody's doing it now except the US. And now they're getting hounded.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big thing going on. And I think a lot of it, when it really boils down, it's for the next X-Files movie. The whole thing is a big publicity scam. I'm telling you. Everything I believe that when you start seeing this stuff happening all at once like this out of the blue, and then a movie's coming out, I'm looking at who's the PR person. I like to meet this person, and shake their hands because we're witnessing one of the greatest stunts in the history of marketing.
But pretty much universally, and this is interesting since we've picked up on it, universally, most of these theories all agree that there's going to be some form of big major UFO event. Right.
There's the rub.
Yeah. Well, so
that will never happen. This is, I'm going to stop you, but I want you to continue. But let me just throw a couple of asides in.
Sure.
This reminds me of we had a guy, Joe Firmage, who used to run a big company here and became a multimillionaire.
Oh, this is the guy that killed himself?
No, he didn't kill himself. He floats around as a speaker. He's a public speaker on the Flying Saucer Tour. And I remember having him on my Silicon Spin show a couple of times. Mm-hmm. And I called him out on one thing because I kept him away and then I brought him back in. It was the same thing you hear from every one of these guys. There's an anti-gravity device out there, and it's going to be revealed in the next 60 days. They always have this short-term timetable, and it's always about anti-gravity. And that's how they're going to explain how all these flying saucers and all these things can do these weird things in the sky. And there's an anti-gravity. It's like, along with zero-point energy, anti-gravity, there's cold fusion. There's a whole slew of these there's a checklist.
So allow me to take this a little bit further.
Anti-gravity is on the top of this list, and it's like any minute now. And this is the same thing with these. When I hear somebody saying, "Oh yeah, there's going to be a big flying saucer event," and I know these guys are clinically crazy, or I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, let me continue. All right. So screw anti-gravity. I mean, these guys are they're guys here who claim to have flown the frickin' spaceships, okay? Who have met the Greys, have met the tall, but these are serious government guys. You know, proven that they worked at these high security level gigs. So anyway, anti-gravity, man, they've got it's total Men in Black stuff. So the ships are here, and by the way, we have bases on the moon. I mean, I'm just telling you what's there, right? So, but anyway, the idea is, regardless of whether it's a big flying saucer moment where the ETs then contact us and say, hand us all your guns, because of course the government will say, well, we've talked to them and it's totally like Mars Attacks, right? So give us your guns. But eventually, I'm sure you've read about the camps that are being set up around the U.S. to house, FEMA camps. I mean, you've definitely, this has been posted on Dvorak.
I did a little research on these FEMA camps a couple of years ago, and this is bull. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Okay, where are these camps? Where's the photos? Every time they show photos, cool thing I saw, they showed photos from the camp, one of these camps they're building. Coincidentally, I happened to have been on the road where that photo was taken. It was in Slovenia.
All right, so I didn't meet just one. I've actually met a number of what you could consider to be extraterrestrials.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Now,
let's start from the beginning.
Well, obviously nothing. So I've thought about this, John, and I've thought about what I want to say about it, and there is a closure. Or there will be a closure that can actually, because what I believe is almost unimportant. And I'm certainly of the belief that the Earth is in change right now, whether it's man-made or built into the to the magic of the universe and the galaxy, and whether it was predicted by the Mayans, or whether it's UFOs are here to save us or kill us, or whether it's whatever you want to believe.
Hold on a second. Let me write down this part, because I'm outlining your talk here. First, I'm putting down one pre-sale. Okay, so you're doing the pre-sale right now.
I would call it background. Maybe it's pre-sale. All right. Are you going to turn this into a PowerPoint so I can go on the road?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So, and I could actually go very deep into all of those different cultures. And
we don't really want to hear.
We don't need that, right? Okay. And the reason why I'm interested in this, John, this is part of the pre-sale and part of the credibility, is I'm about to turn 44, and as the song says, is that all there is? So I'm not interested in that. Is that all there is? And for the next 40 years, I might as well pursue something more. All right? Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Okay. Ridicule as you must.
I didn't say anything.
So what I was looking for was really three things. First thing, would I feel in the presence of any of these beings would I feel anything? Would I see anything? Would I feel anything? I was not expecting to take a ride, for a little spin in the disc, or a little levitation, or a little Stargate transportation. Let's zip through the wormhole and back. I was certainly not expecting that. However, energy, looking for some kind of energy, some kind of vibe. So definitely felt that. Would you believe me if I said, yeah, I saw little spheres of light circling this person's head or body, whatever. I could get into all of that. But really, I only want to know, 1, would I feel something? So yes, affirmative. 2, yes, the particular Pleiadians who I have come in contact with do indeed like strawberry ice cream.
All right.
Yes, I knew you were waiting for that one. And of course, the big one is, I said, I need some kind of proof. I need something that I can show, if you guys are for real, and this is all about, sorry to say no, if this is all about, you're here to help us and get through the transformation of the earth, and as things are falling apart, what the dark forces have put before us, and we're coming and we're waking up out of our enslavement. Let me just finish this. It's all good. It's probably a 3-slider, this part. If it's really all true and that is the agenda, then you need to give me something concrete that will at least resonate, or I can point back to. It still may not be enough proof, whatever it is, for anyone to say, yeah, okay, something's really going on here, but I need something. And for that, I have received a message from multiple sources. And that is October 14th and Alabama, which is unclear to me whether it's the state Alabama, whether it's Lynyrd Skynyrd's song Alabama, or Kid Rock's version of Alabama, or Space Station Alabama. I don't know. But they will surface a vessel for 48 hours. And so we will be able to see
possibly in Alabama.
Possibly in the state Alabama. I'm not quite sure how many Alabamas there are, I got no answer on that.
Well, that gives us something to look forward to.
and obviously for me it'll be a confirmation as well.
I mean, it's pistachios.
How did I do?
Garland Farewell in Alabama, Sunday, October 14, 2007.
What's that? Les Garland? Judy Garland?
I don't know. It just says Garland Farewell. That was last year.
I don't think if you Google October 4th, this doesn't seem like a very significant date for anything.
Well, it's a bunch of crap. The Alabama chapter of the NENA Gulf Coast Conference took place last October 14th.
Yeah, but what's happening this year? What's happening this October 14th?
Stillman Tigers versus Alabama A&M Bulldogs in October 14, 2006.
Would you please Google? I can't Google because of the bandwidth. Can you Google 2008 and see if anything good's going on?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Try First Contact 2008 Alabama.
Alabama NENA again shows up. They're going to have the same conference.
Okay.
Civil terms, Alabama firms. Well, this is March 14th. Alabama firm recalls poultry giblets. Oh, here we go. 14th October to alien ship appear over Alabama.
Really?
This has been digged.
Really?
This has been digged, by the way.
Oh.
October for alien ship.
Send me the link.
Sorry, probedeep.blogspot.com.
Huh.
Here it is. October 14th is the date claimed by Blossom Goodchild, where it is said that an alien spaceship, or it says a alien spaceship, GFL, Galactic Federation of Light spaceship, will appear over Alabama.
The state.
I guess.
There you go.
But we got to find out by getting a hold of Blossom Goodchild.
Send me the link.
No, it's just yeah, I will. Well, this is the dig. Wait, let me get the real link.
I just can't. I'm afraid if I fire.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. It's going to break up. Here it is. This is in probedeep.blogspot.com.
Probe deep. I love it. I actually, there was a fourth thing. I said, hey, man, can you just give me a quick anal probe? I'm really jonesing for one.
Yeah, they do it up to the nose, I think.
Really? Up the nose? Is that true? That's funny because I saw a medical story about. That's interesting. They want to change the way they do vaccinations to doing it up the nose. That's interesting.
Well, they want to have a spray. Okay, here we go. Let me read you the story so you can be right up on this. And this was blogged on August 6th. So this date's floating around, so you may have been snookered by whatever this is going on around. It's been going around, apparently. October 14th, 2008 is the date claimed by Blossom Goodchild, where it is said that an alien spaceship, GFL, Galactic Federation of Light spaceship, will appear over Alabama for 3 days continuously. I came across the news in one of the sites and could not believe whether it was true or a hoax. If it is true, this is the first time in the history that someone coming forward giving the exact date and saying UFO will appear, though it is said that the UFO appearance is for peace and to prove their existence and to give hope, to give hope have to see. It's very poorly written. Whether it is untrue. Hope have to see whether it is untrue, something like Doomsday 2000. Anyway, see the below video for more information. There's a video there. Guys, don't forget to mark October 14th, 2008 on your calendars. This will be the big day in history and proves if UFOs are fake or not. And by the way, don't forget to leave a comment. There's 5 comments.
What are the comments? Well,
the comment number 1, anonymous. Right, the first contact will be 14th October this year. It'll be a great day in history. And there's another video link.
Yeah.
And then anonymous comes back and says, I know Blossom Goodchild, the lady that channeled this message. She is a lovely woman who holds regular channeling nights and has written 3 books. This, by the way, is your new family. She has worked hard to build her credibility among her peers and would not put this information out unless she has truly believed it to be true. Trust me, it took much trust and faith. I should be doing this in this voice. And faith for her to publicly release the message. And even if they do not turn up, she would still have my support and love. Blessings, Meg.
You see, I'm really disappointed because I was hoping you were going to Google that and you were going to come up with a whole bunch of people knowing this. Now I'm highly skeptical. I mean, if I'm the only one getting the message, that's not good PR. They could call Karl Rove. He could help them out.
He would. So one of the rest of them are saying, just nothing. And then this guy, Kevin Chappelle, says nobody finds it strange that 10/14/2008 equals 2012. I don't know where he's getting at. I guess he's 10. I don't know where.
How do you do that? There's a lot of that numerology. I crack up when I see that because it just, if you multiply this divided by this one and there's always a way to make the numbers work, I think.
Here's one guy, Kevin Chappelle. I got to read you the whole thing. Okay. I didn't read the whole thing. Now I just did.
All right.
Kevin Chappelle says, and I can't, you'll find there's some weird irony to this. Nobody finds it strange that 2014-2008 equals 2012. This is the year the Pleiadian home planet Nibiru is supposed to come very close to us and destroy everything.
We're all going to die.
BS.
We're all going to die.
So he says, I call BS.
I'm calling you out.
Thanks,
Kev. I'm calling you out, man.
I call BS. So anyway.
But anyway, I felt it was a good meeting. And there's more people I want to meet. There's lots of interesting people.
Now, you didn't drink anything, right?
No. I did not drink anything, did not eat anything, did not smoke anything. No, as I promised.
How does that work?
I was also flying. It was a great flight, by the way, because I had to go all the way up to the north of the country.
I got to talk with you about UFOs because there are two things that happened this past week. One of them, I saw you blogged about the. This happened in the UK. That apparently a UFO with tentacles.
That's the flying spaghetti monster.
The flying spaghetti monster hit a wind turbine and broke it. At the same time, this is actually this must be an AP story. It's coming from
This is why they don't want wind turbines.
Yeah, really. Space mystery roar from faraway space detected. Have you heard about this?
No, tell me.
This is NASA. Let's see, Alan Kogut of NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. Something new and interesting is going on in the universe. I love that. So they listen to space, and normally it just kind of sounds like Nothing? But apparently they're picking up loud roaring noises now, and they're not quite sure what it is. But, considering my disappointment of the first contact of October and so much mainstream media attention being paid to stuff like this stupid spaghetti monster hitting the wind turbine, and we've got space sounds from outer space, and Obama wants to accelerate and put us on the moon. Like, didn't we already see that movie before? But anyway, we got to get on the moon. I'm thinking that
Obama's a fractal of Kennedy.
Right. Well, here's the scenario. Of course, there's more and more dissent coming from amongst the slaves saying, wait a minute, global warming, yeah, okay, we got to protect our Earth, but hold on a second, what are all these taxes for this unproven theory of yours? And what they're going to do next is they're going to have space aliens communicate to us and tell us that we're killing our world and carbon credits are good for us. Something like that is in the works.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a hard one to pull off.
Are you kidding me?
Only a maniac would think that could work.
Okay.
I am in outer space, and we must tell you, Earthlings.
I look at Rahm Emanuel, and I think, yeah, he could make it up. He could do it. Get taken out back, get two to the head, and have the gun put in our left hand, John. A large lake in Chile disappeared overnight, leaving in its place a giant pit 30 meters deep, placed in dry soil. This is according to the National Forestry Corporation of Chile. So there was a lake, and overnight the entire thing went dry. You want to know what happened?
It leaked out.
Nope. A UFO sucked it out. And I've got pictures. And you'll find those in the show notes at noagenda.mevio.com.
Pictures.
Yep. The UFO sucked all the water right out of the lake.
What would they do that for?
Well, they were thirsty.
Well, how much water do they need? It's a huge lake. The UFO must have been massive in size.
There's also brand new crop circles showing up again near Wiltshire. It's like every week there's a new crop circle in the UK. Every single week.
Everybody knows those things are fake.
John, you cannot make these. These are not fake.
They're all, you cannot. It's impossible.
John, I will give you, okay, because they're made with, all of a sudden they show up in one day. John C. Dvorak, here's my pledge to you. I will give you my entire bar of gold, free, completely yours to keep, if in one night you can replicate this without anyone seeing you.
Well, you could probably do a lot of stuff without anyone seeing you out in the middle of nowhere.
It's not all that far in the middle. It's Wiltshire. It's the United Kingdom. It's not like the backwaters of down south. It's Wiltshire. And if you can create this crop circle, and even if you can do it in broad daylight.
Send me a link to the crop circle now. I want to see what it looks like.
Okay, hold on. In fact, you can do it in broad daylight. Let me get it for you here.
So let me get this straight. So aliens have a flying saucer, and they come down and they say, let's make some stupid design down here just to confuse the locals.
That I wouldn't say that's necessarily true. I think it's maybe it's not done by aliens. Maybe it's Mother Earth doing it somehow.
Oh.
Don't ridicule me,
let's get those
Dvorak.
Chinese girls back on.
Here, if you can make this, you can do it in broad daylight. I give you 20 hours to do. No, I give you 15 hours to do it, because that would be the time of darkness.
Wow, that's a beauty.
Yes, it is. You do that one in 15 hours. I give you all my gold.
So what documentation do we have that that's not either a photoshopped picture that we're looking at, which is what I'm thinking?
Please, have you seen all the pictures? Scroll down, John. These are aerial photographs.
This is a different one.
No, it's the same one.
I'm talking to look at the. There's one. I see. Okay.
One
it's
bar
not that
of
big.
gold. That's not that big. It's okay. You make this with all the detail. Look at all the swirls.
The guy's obviously into embroidery or something. He could have taken a year to do this for all you know.
No, John. There are people who
they have. I want to see a picture of this same field taken the day before.
I'm not. Look, why are you arguing the point instead of taking my challenge? Within 15 hours from start to finish.
I can't do it. I can barely draw a circle with a line through it.
Anyone listening to this show, if you circle through the line through it, stickman theater. If you could make a stickman, John, just a stickman in a wheat field somewhere. Anyone who can create this within 15 hours, you can do it in broad daylight. Go ahead, make this, and I'll give you my bar of gold.
You can see he had a tractor, because there's a lot of tractor things going on.
That's fine. You can use tractors. You can use whatever you want. Make it, John. You could even you can even trace this with tracing paper from the screen picture.
This is performance art. It's like street art. It's like graffiti.
Yeah, it's alien graffiti. I'll give you that.
Why would an alien bother?
Well, why do people bother doing graffiti?
Okay, some alien decided to deface this guy's empty farmland. I'd like to know what the dark brown parts are. There's no crop down here. It's not really a crop circle unless it's wheat.
John, I think you should just give up while you're still ahead.
Still.
You still haven't taken on my challenge. All right, let's move.
Okay, I'm doing it. I am taking on the challenge.
Yes? Okay.
I would like to hear from any engineers out there that can help me with this, and we can start to divvy up the money.
Yep, that's right. 1 bar of gold. And I'll give you a hacksaw with it so you can divvy it up with your minions.
Yeah, we'll cash it in and take the money from the Federal Reserve folks.
Greece announced on Friday he started his cap and trade stock exchange with the money.
He invested in cap
He put it into
trade.
Kleiner Perkins Fund 8.
And the other thing that was semi-distracting was this pounding the moon with a missile.
Yeah, well, I'd love the two at the same time, because there's nothing like the president of a country who bombs the moon who then gets the Nobel Peace Prize. You know, it just seems like just something kind of weird about that. And you know what? I watched the video, and I'll put a link to the NASA video. You can probably find it yourself. It's all over the net. And but I was watching it live. I'm like, okay. It's like, yeah. They switched to infrared. Okay, it looks blue. I don't see any heat mapping going on. What the hell happened there? Nothing. I don't even know if they actually shot anything.
It could have all been bull.
Yeah, totally. And the price of the mission was only $79 million. That doesn't seem like enough.
Well, it's just there wasn't like you didn't have to worry about protecting anybody. Just like essentially a shell.
What kind of explosives did they use?
I don't know. I didn't even follow it that much. I thought the whole thing was kind of silly. It all stems from the fact that somehow, India sent up some sort of a probe to the moon
and discovered there's water there,
and claims that they found water. And I don't know if they did or not, but it just seemed kind of like, whoa, well, they found water. We never found water. We've been wandering around up there.
Yeah.
So now we have to go up there and one-upsmanship them by pounding the moon with a missile.
It just makes no sense. And in particular, this really does help my theory that, where I question if we've been on the moon. I mean, come on. How can you miss the obvious? Hey, what's that puddle over there? Well, you would miss the obvious
if you're wandering around on the moon and there's water 30 feet under your feet. I mean, what are you going to be doing, digging a hole?
Well, then how did the Indians see it?
Well, I think they must have. That was like a few months ago, and I don't remember how they came up with this notion. They apparently found it in some area, and I guess someplace we didn't go, and so we pounded this area with a missile to either prove or disprove that the Indians found stuff. I don't know. I think the whole thing's a waste of time. The one thing is, just so one day we can go to the moon. If there's water there, then we know we can live there, and all this other nonsense. And it's like, we're not going to the moon. We're not putting a colony on the moon anytime soon.
So apparently it was a 2-ton kinetic weapon that was supposed to create a 5-mile wide crater. Now, I'm sorry, but they don't have zoom lenses now? You saw nothing. You saw absolutely...
5 mile, why, was it a nuke?
A kinetic weapon. I'm not quite sure what
does that mean?
I don't know. I'm just reading from the mainstream media publication. I don't know.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second. Stop the presses.
Let's Google kinetic.
They use the word kinetic weapon, or what it was, a kinetic weapon, and they don't explain it. When for the last 40 years, when I was writing columns in all these newspapers, and you said the word hard disk, their editors would come back and say, "Can you explain what a hard disk is? Because nobody knows what that means." So, but meanwhile, they just throw kinetic weapon out there, whatever it is. Are you kidding me?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You could play the pet peeve thing at work.
I was thinking about it. Hold on.
John C. Dvorak's pet peeve of the day.
I'm serious. I mean, it's always galled me from day one when I was writing for these newspapers. Well, hard disk. What's a hard disk?
Yeah. What is a hard disk?
It's a disk.
It's a spinning disk.
Spinning around with data on it.
I love the Examiner. The title of their report: NASA moon bombing violates space law and may cause conflict with lunar extraterrestrials and UFO civilizations. Yeah, no shit. And they complain about Iran. I mean, come on, get real. Well, apparently there is a United Nations Outer Space Treaty. Here it is. Resolution adopted by the General Assembly. Treaty on principles governing the activities of states in the exploration and use of outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies. And you're not allowed to bomb it. That's like a no-no.
No bombing of the moon.
No bombing allowed. This was,
But we can bomb Iraq? Does that make sense to you?
No, of course not. I'm going to put this in the links. That's a pretty good one. Someone just sent that to me. It really is. It's General Assembly resolutions. The General Assembly, having considered the report of the Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space covering its work during 1966, in particular the work accomplished by the Legal Subcommittee. Man, they got a whole thing about space here.
Yeah, you know. Can't be too far ahead of the curve.
Well, this is from a while ago. The exploration and use of outer space, including the moon and other celestial bodies, shall be carried out for the benefit and the interest of all countries, irrespective of their degree of economic or scientific development, and shall be the province of all mankind. I got to read through this thing. It's pretty big, this whole UN resolution. I like it. Well, then we violated it.
Yeah, we did, apparently. Obama violated it, and then the next thing you know, he's got a
Nobel Peace Prize.
Peace Prize, yeah, that makes no sense.
You know, there's a bunch of UFOs flying around, dudes going, "Hey, man, that Obama dude, that's no good. He be blowing shit up."
So have we got the results back from this bombing yet?
Well, they found nothing, although the results that I'm reading are, well, it could be very exciting once we get all the data. Yeah. It's being stored on a hard disk, apparently, and they have to wait until it's flown back. It's bull. Age-old story, as continuously propagated by David Icke, that we stem from reptilians, and of course his story is a little bit different.
Well, wait, let's back up a minute. V, of course, is the new science fiction show.
Well, it's the new version of the science fiction show.
Right, V, which was done is this now on ABC? This was done, I believe, in the 70s or the 80s or the 70s?
In the 80s. No, V was in the 80s.
Did the V, the show, precede Icke's theories, or was it after?
Oh, that's a really good question. But
I think David Icke saw V and said, "That's it."
No, because the original V series was more about visitors from another planet, and not about the whole idea that the reptilians have actually been living amongst us for years and years. And so what David Icke, who, by the way, was a respected journalist, I think he was a sports journalist as well, and he went on Terry Wogan one evening, and he said, of course, the planet is ruled by reptilians, and the entire royal family are all reptiles. And his career ended abruptly. And I got to tell you, I like David. I buy into a lot of what he's talking about, but I've always had a little bit of trouble with the reptile stuff. And from time to time,
it does explain a lot, though. I mean, like, they live forever. The royal family, nobody ever dies prematurely.
they're butt ugly.
They all go to the max. They all go to the oldest. They get rid when one of the non-reptilians moves in with the family. They're murdered.
Yes,
and
and
so I mean.
I've seen pictures floating around the internet, with absolute proof that Michelle and Barack Obama are reptilian. There's been some fun Photoshop work going around the internet when it comes to that, and of course, the entire Bush family, etc., all reptilian. So this kind of plays on that vibe, and I guess metaphorically speaking, I kind of buy into it. Not actual reptilians, but that there is certainly a club of people that we're not in who really want to just rule the world no matter what. So they're not. If you cut away their skin, they may not actually be reptiles underneath, but to me there's something going on there, and I do understand though what you're saying about the parallels between the Obama administration. Obama as a cult of personality, and how you have Anna, who is the leader of the V's, and how kids are getting into it and spray painting V everywhere, and it's beautiful when art imitates life. Predicting this would happen. I have been telling you that this was bad news. No one wanted to listen to me. I told you this Large Hadron Collider. Up there in Switzerland, I said it's a bad idea. You don't want to trying to recreate the Big Bang. This is not a good idea to be throwing protons around at the speed of light. This is not a good idea. So what happens? They shot off a gravitational wave, also known as a time wave, because they fired this thing up on November 1st. Of course, that was not in the news because they don't actually want you to know what's going on with this billion-dollar project. And it blew out all the lights in South America. I don't know if you caught that. But seriously, 70 million people were without power. And the way it works, John, is fascinating. I'm really studying on this.
Before you say that, you know what the word is on that power outage, right?
No.
You know how they explain it?
No, I know what happened, but go ahead. Oh, yeah, it was a storm.
No, I heard a different story.
Oh, I've got the...
Super hackers.
Super what?
Super hackers.
Oh, that would be a good.
They've hacked the grid down there, and they're just showing off. It's like a Smersh or some James Bond group.
I'm looking at the AFP report, Agence France Presse.
Oh, the French, though, we already know that they won't take the shot.
Yeah, so they say atmospheric storm, atmospheric discharges, very strong wind and rain. So apparently the grid can't handle wind and rain in South America.
Yeah, because it never rains down there.
So first of all, we know there's a lot of weird stuff going on with the polar the magnetism of the poles changing, and planes are going down in the southern hemisphere. Of course, Airbuses mainly because they're so over automated. But what is happening is you have these gateways to the sun. These are in fact, there's a couple of very famous ones in South America, mainly Chile, Bolivia, Paraguay, Brazil, Argentina, and these things react to certain types of gravitational waves. Which, of course, when you're flinging magnets around at the speed of light, you can only imagine that maybe you create some kind of gravitational pull. And it's basically shocking the Earth. The Earth being made, one of the most when people don't know this, one of the most, listen to me now, one of the most common substances on Earth is silicon, right? Would you agree?
It's a lot of it. Yeah, it's called sand.
Yeah, sand, silicon. There's like 25% of the Earth's crust is made of silicon. It's highly conductive. Okay? So, and in fact, we're using it. You're listening to sand, okay? We're pounding sand right now. It's all sand based. And when you're under the Earth's crust and you're putting gravitational shit into sand, it has absolute effects. So they had to shut the thing down because it started to overheat. And they said, "Oh, a bird pooped in the machine." Literally, that's the report. Oh, a bird pooped on some piece of the machine, so we had to shut it down.
No, he dropped a baguette, supposedly.
Yeah, baguette. Well, meanwhile, 70 million people without electricity. I'm telling you, this is the Large Hadron Collider. It's bad news. It should not be allowed to operate. I'm against it.
Well, for one thing, silicon's not conductive, A. which is kind of.
What do you mean? Of course, it's. I'm not
yeah, sure.
Of course. What?
That's why it's used as the basis for semiconductor products, which have like circuits going on. If it was conductive, it would just short out. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so let's just go with how is it conductive?
You need to read up on Tesla, my friend. You need to really understand how the Earth's crust
this is all
works.
Total crackpot stuff. Now that said,
okay, fine. Hey, John.
What's that?
Hey, John, look over here.
So,
go ahead, call it crackpot stuff. Let me put it this way. They want me to get out of the room. Hold on. Yeah, we're checking out in a few minutes. Thank you.
I thought this was one of your sound effects. Crackpot calling the kettle black.
Hey, we gotta go. The show has got to end. I'm being kicked out of the room. We have to stop. It's 12 o'clock over here. I gotta stop. Hey, I'm gonna play.
You didn't have
I'm gonna play
extension?
the end shoot. What? No, I gotta go. It's the end of the show.
We'll continue this discussion next week.
We'll talk about it on Thursday. We definitely have stuff to talk about, and I suggest you do some research, John, on how silicon is used, because just because you're a tech journalist doesn't mean you know everything.
I don't know anything. But it would help if we had more money, so please go to noagendashow.com and give us a hand.
Yeah, that would actually be very, very helpful. No, my top of the news, John, would without a doubt have to be the portal that opened up over Norway.
Yeah, well, you know the news broke on that, right?
Well, I've read a number. I have, of course, my own theory, but you know
about the Russian missile, though, right?
Well, the Norwegian government said, "Oh yeah, there's a Russian missile test, and we knew that it was coming, and we forgot to tell everybody." Bullshit, John. Have you seen this?
The Russians have confirmed this.
Well, of course they have, because what really went down is I told you this would happen. They fired up the Large Hadron Collider 3 days ago, and the first thing that happens is a black hole appears. And where does it appear? Right over Norway, where Obama is about to be. This is not coincidental. This is not coincidental. In fact, I can tell you exactly how the science works. The science is in. John, the science is in.
And everyone agrees.
Yes, everyone agrees. The science is in. Allow me to tell you exactly how it works. So on Tuesday, CERN, that's the atomic outfit who has this 23 miles or I think kilometers of proton busting crap underneath Switzerland. They fired up their Large Hadron Collider, and for the first time ever in human history, smashed together these subatomic particles in their accelerator. These were then quantumly transferred to the Partial Reflection Medium Frequency Atmospheric Radar Facility, which is located in Ramfjordon, Norway, which is operated by the Incoherent Scatter Facility in Europe. That then transferred a high-energy beam, which was pulsed vertically at 2.43 megahertz, by their MF radar antennas, which resulted in this spiral light. And of course, this is all coordinated. They know what's happening. They know what they're doing. And we're now being told some bullshit, which the Russians, I don't know, who confirmed it? Did Putin come out and say, oh yeah, shouldn't we be concerned? Shouldn't this be top of the news, by the way? No, John, this is, the science is in on this one.
Fine. What's the point of it?
Well, it's an attack on the extraterrestrials.
Oh, okay.
It's part of the space wars that have been going on for the past 2 years that we've been talking about, if not longer. So
do you think they blasted them? Did they knock these guys out of the air?
I think they tried, yeah. Absolutely. Now, there's another theory, which I also kind of like. It could have been an ion cannon coming down from the other direction. All of this, by the way, documented with the science being in. There is no dispute. Thousands of scientists already agree on this. in the show notes at noagendashow.com. But if you haven't seen this thing, if you have not seen, I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. Mickey, actually, she hadn't seen it yet, and I showed it to her last night. She said, it's got the golden rule in there.
Looks doctored.
What do you mean? You mean the pictures are photoshopped? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
No way. Do you know how many? Have you seen how many amateur photographs there are?
Yeah, they're all different.
They're all from different angles. Okay, John, please tell me. So you actually believe this jabroni cockamamie story that it was a Russian missile that spiraled out of control, so you can actually believe that the spiral had something to do with it. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I have to say that this excuse for what this was is pretty lame, A, and B, why are the Russians launching intercontinental ballistic missiles? I mean, if they were doing that, they have to inform the U.S. in advance, otherwise we think they're attacking us. And we haven't said anything about this. In fact, we've been kind of mum about the whole thing, and I'd like to know why it's over Norway. Or I guess you have the reason because there's something there.
Well, yes, there's stations there, but it's not coincidental. Obama's on his way to Norway, John. Come on. It's a test firing. It's like testing 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2.
We'll follow this breaking story here.
Hold on. I can't believe you're being so cavalier about this. This weekend, European news agencies are reporting tons of falling stars, which of course is debris. Where are you guys going? Okay. Bye, baby. Yeah, we got Molly Wood picking up Mickey here, taking her out for what? No, okay. Wait for a second, John. We can talk about Molly after she's gone. Hello?
How do we switch from one topic to the next?
All right, I'm back. So the European agencies, meteorological agencies, are predicting tons of falling stars this weekend. Yeah. No kidding. It's the debris. Something was blown up. Something happened. In fact, if you look at these pictures, you can see that my assertion, my theory, my thesis, if you will, of it being reflected from the ground station there, you can see that it actually comes from, the light is emitting from a spot behind the hills, which is in Ramfjordun. And I'm not quite sure what the incoherent scatter facility radar and ionospheric heating device does, except scatter ions, apparently. This could be a part of HARP. I mean, I just can't believe that everyone's just like, ho-hum, oh, that's beautiful. Oh, yeah. Oh, of course, Russian missile. Oh, yeah, all right. Hey, how about that Tiger Woods? Hey, let's bring the Chihuahua to the pound. I mean, what is it? I can't believe people are so cavalier. Like, oh, who gives a shit? It's just some beautiful blue thing that showed up. Just, oh, yeah, that's where our president's going.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, just move along with your lives, people. Oh, I have a jingle for that, don't I? Yeah.
Don't look over here. Nothing to see here. Ooh, look at that.
So Obama apparently has stiffed the Norwegians. There's an interesting following the news on this visit of his, which may lend credence to your overall thesis. He shows up in Norway, and then he's not going to have lunch with the king or whoever. He's not going to do this. He's not going to do that. And so the Norwegians are all bent out of shape about it. And that was the early reports. Nothing's really changed, but those reports have all been kind of pushed to the side. Now it's like, they're not talking about it anymore for some reason.
Well, yeah, of course, because Obama sees this thing showing up. It's like a big bat signal saying, don't come here. You're like, I think I should cancel a couple of appointments. Could you look at my calendar, please? Of course. And no one's talking to me. You know what we need? We need another huge scandal. And so now we need to have a Tiger Woods 2. We need to have, like some guys come out and say, oh, I fucked him. That's what we need, something desperately. You watch. They need something desperately, because if this catches on, if people actually start talking about this. Now, on the other hand, I will say that this could be used as a distraction away from Copenhagen. That's also very possible, and we could be falling right into their lair. Yes. I will say also in the show notes, there's a wiki page on the Hessdalen lights, which are, quote, according to Wikipedia, which is probably written by some CIA, a civilian in the Pentagon. These lights are well known and have been recorded and studied by physicists. One explanation attributes the phenomenon to an incompletely understood combustion process in the air involving clouds of dust from the valley floor containing scandium. Some sightings, though, have been identified as misperceptions of astronomical bodies, aircraft, car headlights, and mirages. I just wanted to give you another... it's all in the show notes.
Scandium, eh?
Yeah, what is scandium?
I don't know. I never heard of it. But it's obviously something to do. Well, since it says scandium, it was either discovered in Scandinavia or because these higher elements are usually named after somebody, like Einsteinium. And...
Carurium.
And there's Californium and Berkeleum and
Dvorakium. Now, I think there will be many religious theories to this, that this is, if you look at it, that this is the Tower of Babel. Because, the spiraling idea, maybe I think some people will pick up on that. I just think it's something to, really pay attention to, because I have never in my 45 years on this rock have I ever seen. I mean, the whole thing looked absolutely photoshopped, and I just went no, come on, that's like a drawing. And then you look at the video, which is not doctored. I know what doctored video looks like. You look at other pictures, holy crap, this thing is amazing. It was absolutely beautiful. And the coincidence is just, you can't deny that, and I told everybody, the Large Hadron Collider, and what was that big black hole that all of a sudden, that ominous, turned it into a black hole? Let's just call it what it is. It was a black hole. Now go ahead. Let's talk about chihuahuas.
If it was a black hole, how come it didn't suck everything into it?
Well, we don't know what it did or didn't suck in. It could have been just a test firing, but, have you seen any of this on the lamestream media news?
I didn't watch much lamestream media news this week.
Chat room.
They don't talk about anything, those guys.
So there are so many different ancient symbols that we are not aware of what they do, that have very deeply rooted DNA response level or DNA level responses within our psyche that are being used over and over. I mean, it's the same thing as it's almost like throwing the O, which of course is is very close to the Freemason, all-seeing eye pyramid. I mean, all these pyramids and triangles, they hold special power deep within our psyche. And we're entering into a very, interesting astrological, I should say, period right now between now and the winter solstice. And people are starting to feel things. I read all the stuff about moving from the third into the fifth dimension and the ascension, but there is totally something going on right now. And some call it the awakening, some call it, whatever it is. But these symbols are not by accident. Like we talked about on the last show, turning the stars on the United States flag and on the the GOP elephant upside down to show devil's horns. You can Google pictures of everyone from Hillary Clinton to the Pope to President Obama throwing the devil sign, with forefinger and pinky. I mean, all of this stuff has meaning. It's just this is not what we teach in school. What we teach in school is one currency, global government is good, and by the way, if you have a brother and sister, you should go kill them because they're basically eating up the earth. And I'm highly interested in this stuff. And I've been doing more research on on that beautiful spiral that appeared over Norway. And this has now also happened in Russia. It happened the day after in Russia. So it's okay. Of course, this was a Russian rocket, they said, in Norway. Also in China. And I have YouTube videos, which will be in the show notes. And there was this kind of pyramid-shaped thing over the Kremlin in Moscow that was outrageous. It's like this huge funnel type thing floating over the Kremlin.
You got this from a Russian publication?
Yeah, it is from Russia Today. Yeah. But you can be disenchanted, jaded, whatever you want to call it, and say, oh, it's doctored, it's edited, it's Photoshop. I'm sure it isn't. There is so much, John. There are so many. If you just took 2 seconds and just put aside your prejudice and look at all of the UFO sightings, and I'm not talking about flying discs, I'm talking about huge arrays of lights that are darting across the sky in South America, just the other day above Chile. It's happening everywhere. There is something going on, definitely. Now, of course, I know what it is, but if I say the Galactic Federation is looking out for us, then everyone starts calling me a crackpot.
See, this is where you.
Maybe I have to bring it differently. Maybe I should say,
The science is in!
they're coming to save us. There's
So
no
let's go
doubting
over-
it.
Let's go over some more of the climate change stuff before we close the gate.
Okay. For your out there sounds. Of course, after the nuclear cruise missile attack on Denver, which I reported on, seems like they had a little drill the other day, which was announced. This was, in case some kind of missile would be sent into the United States, and there was an actual cruise missile explosion. This time over Nebraska. In fact, this happened 9 p.m. local yesterday. The explosion even registered a 3.5 magnitude on the earthquake measurement systems. And
do you have a link to this article?
Yes, I do. And the cruise missile was shot, was fired. It came over.
What is a cruise missile doing flying over Nebraska?
It's on its way to Denver. This is the whole space wars that we're not aware of. The CIA Obama cabal, and they blew it out of the sky, John, with a particle beam weapon. So
the aliens did. You're saying?
No. The armed forces. Because
I thought we were firing at Denver, which has now been taken over by aliens. Am I not getting this story straight?
Yeah, I think you're not.
Hmm.
But there's multiple fractions in the armed forces. It's not all like everyone's on the same program there. I guess the point of what I'm saying is there is absolutely a space war taking place. I now kind of have to believe that the beautiful circles we saw over Norway were probably part of a conjugate wave device. So these are all weapons that have been militarized and are being used right now. There is some shit going on that is far beyond what you and I can even comprehend because we've not ever been exposed to it. But it's taking place. It's happening. It's out there. It's up there. And also the tapes were released. I'm not going to play them for you, but the tapes of the Northwest Airlines Flight 188.
Oh, the sleeping pilots.
Wow. When I listened to the actual air traffic control tapes, these guys were not asleep. They were freaked out by something, and they're not talking about it. I will put a link in the show notes to it. You could, and I've listened to pilots on the headsets. I know how pilots talk, and they're like, yeah, we got distracted by something here. I mean, you just listen to me, like you're blown away by what's going on, and it's not like there wasn't calls going out to them continuously. They actually had other aircraft calling out to them, trying to reach them. So why no F-16s were scrambled is still a huge gaping hole in the story. And and I think that they saw something up there they weren't supposed to.
Well, that's always a possibility. From my news item that I'm going to throw out, which is probably not quite as profound as that one.
But mine will save our life, okay? So
police say 2 dogs fed on Nebraska owner's body.
And now, back to real news. Yum. Hey, John, just so you know, good news.
Yeah?
There's a very large mothership, which is about 20 miles.
Don't we save this for the end of the show?
No, because I'm excited about this. It's right now it's about 1.5 million miles off the South Pole. It's a 20-mile aircraft, and it's stationary right now. And there's pictures of it. NASA, other organization telescopes have been monitoring it for 8 months. It's big, it's blue, and it's beautiful. And it looks a bit like a Klingon ship, which is a bit disconcerting. But link in the show notes at noagendashow.com. Looks like the mothership is on its way.
Well, they also found some triangular thing over some spot or other.
Yeah, like over the Kremlin, like I didn't mention that 2 shows ago.
Well, I didn't know it was a big triangle.
Yeah, it was like a funnel. I told you that. It was like a triangular funnel sucking up, or blowing down. Who knows? Yeah. And, of course, that's the same show where you said, all this footage
well, now that you mentioned it was Russia. It was a Russian news report.
It's all
the Russians
photoshopped.
have always been doing this to keep the population under control. These bogus stories.
It looked pretty damn real to me.
It looked like a Photoshop job if I ever saw one.
Yeah, but when you see 40 or 50 different pictures from independent sources, you've got to wonder if they all share the same.
Do you know any of these people personally?
John.
Just saying.
Are you a UFO denialist?
I'm a denialist.
Are you a UFO denier? Are you a savior denier? Is that what you are? One thing's very clear, John.
Don't be a denier. The science is in. Science.
NASA is even seeing it, so the science is in.
Everyone agrees.
Hell yeah. U.S. military is liaising with extraterrestrial life, according to multiple independent sources. This is big, John. This is a huge article. Independent sources have claimed an ongoing set of face-to-face meetings between U.S. military officials and extraterrestrial life. The sources reveal that senior...
Did this run on April 1st?
No, this ran on December 28th. Another reason they needed the crotch bomber, because the news is getting out now.
So you're saying that there's aliens meeting with our government?
Yes.
Of course, they ran this over the Christmas holiday, so nobody would notice. That's what your theory is.
So the sources reveal that senior U.S. Navy officers have played a leading role in an inter-services working group responsible for the meetings, and that different extraterrestrial groups are allegedly involved. One source claims that the contact involves extraterrestrial groups known as reptilians and a silicon-based life form dubbed the conformers. Another source claims that the extraterrestrials are called Ebens from the Zeta Reticuli star system, but known colloquially as the Greys. A third source claims that human-looking extraterrestrials representing an association of star nations are liaising with military officials. And this article, which ran in the Examiner, is filled with amazing links, interviews, and it's all ex-military guys who are now 75, 80 years old, and they're just tired of keeping these lies in. They're just tired of it. And I predicted that the president will come out and you watch. He's going to say, all right, we might as well just tell you because you're going to find out anyway. Yes, we've been in touch with alien life forms and we've got free energy. And of course it won't be free. That'll be another red herring. Uh-oh. I hear them coming for me, John. Do you hear it? Yeah. This is a great article. It's really, really good. And there's tons of backup information. These are the type of guys who are coming out about this. All retired, of course. U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps. Dennis Blair, Director of National Intelligence. James Jones, National Security Advisor. Charles Bolden, NASA Administrator. All these guys retired, and they're all, moving up on 80, and they're like, we just don't want to bullshit around anymore. It's true. Get on with it already. I mean, even Dennis Kucinich says it. So it's got to be true.
Oh, God. Well, he's one of them, I think.
Yeah, he might be, but that's okay. And he's related to, what's her name, the actress? Shirley MacLaine. She knows. She knows. To take possession of the Stargate. Which is 7 miles below the surface. It's known as the Aden Stargate, and it's starting to activate. It's got a lot of.
Where did you get this one?
I travel in circles, and what's frightening to the governments and the military is that this Stargate actually can incapacitate aggressive weaponry like nuclear weapons. So that's why everyone needs to get in there. They're all trying to figure out, they're waiting for something either to pop up to the surface or whatever it is. But it is without a doubt the Stargate that everyone is jockeying for position. You watch, you're going to see some really weird crap going down. And right now, of course, and the chat room's been waiting for it, we've been using a lot of crazy weaponry, and I will say it because I think it is possible that indeed the earthquake machine has been turned on. We saw a relatively large, it's all in the sea now, by the way. Earthquakes aren't happening on the earth, on land mass anymore. It's all happening underwater, first off the coast of California, and now off the coast of Haiti.
So what is the time mark for the show? Because my son had made a prediction that you'd bring up earthquakes in today's show as part of some screwball idea. And what's the time mark? I got to get it.
I think we're at 1:37.
I expected earlier.
I waited for it because the chat room was like waiting. Oh, when's he going to bring it up? When's he going to? You know, you all can call me crazy. You can say whatever you want. But
all right, there's a whole bunch of crazy websites about this.
Yeah, I don't read the crazy websites. This is
Top Secret's actually a pretty good site.
Yeah, but I don't even read Above Top Secret. If I can stay, I have other sources. This is a part of HARP. And this is gearing up, and this happens all the time. You know, watch the next big quake. I predict it for you right now. You know where it's going to hit? Iran. The next big quake will be in Iran.
Well, they do have a lot of quakes in Iran, so it's not a bad prediction.
And if you look at what the response, and this is all tip-off in my mind. If you look at the response that the U.S. has had. The president comes out and says, we're going to invest $100 million in Haiti. Invest? The hell is that? Invest? We have the Southcom. I mean, immediately, who goes down there? Do you know that the commander of Southcom was in Haiti when this happened? What's he doing there? In Southcom, we've got, we happen to have an aircraft carrier, a nuclear aircraft carrier nearby. We're just going to, we happen to be here. No, there is something very, very, very strange going on with this, and it could be a distraction. It could be a number of things. But when you see Department of Homeland Security is going down there, I don't get it. Now we've occupied Haiti in the past in the. I think in 1939 to
even before then. I think the Marines were in there in 1908, 1909.
Yeah, and I don't know if it has any strategic importance. It was great for pirates back in the day. And of course, there's always been all kinds of crap going on in Port-au-Prince. I think this was either.
Well, and then of course, Pat Robertson came out with a crazy comment.
Yeah, do you want to hear that? Because I have it somewhere.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is rather hilarious. I thought I put this under. Oh boy, how can I not find that immediately? No, it should have been under crazy shit. That's a new topic I have. Crazy shit. Here it is, Pat Robertson. Okay, let's play this for you. This is him explaining why.
Explaining.
He's just saying. He's just explaining. Listen to the reason why.
Christy, something happened a long time ago in Haiti, and people may not want to talk about it. They were under the heel of the French. Napoleon III and whatever. And they got together and swore a pact to the devil. They said, we will serve you if you'll get us free from the French. It's a true story. And
true story.
So the devil said, okay, it's a deal.
All right. Who's crazier? You're calling me crazy with my earthquake machine? Who's nuttier? Who is nuttier?
I'm seeing a lot of you in Pat Robertson. I think someday in the future, this is going to be you.
He's making a lot of dough doing it. His audience donates.
So,
but hold on. Let me ask you a couple questions. Has Haiti ever experienced an earthquake before in its history?
Yeah, 200 years ago.
Oh, really?
They have a cycle of about 200 years for their earthquakes.
Okay. All right. Well,
the fault's well known. It's a big fault. It moves.
Anyway, we've got U.S. Special Ops. We've got Southcom, the Southern Command in there. We've got Department of Homeland Security. And here
they got there a lot faster than they got to Katrina victims, didn't they?
Here, the U.S. Southern Command. Thank you. Good point. U.S. Southern Command is leading the Department of Defense response. Department of Defense? General P.K. Keene, deputy commander of the Southern Command, was in Haiti when the quake struck. He was it on vacation? What's he doing down there? How coincidental?
Coincidence? I think not.
Of course, it's horrible because, hundreds of thousands of people have died. And I don't see there's too much coincidence. We've got this, the weather is really weird. And of course, all of the climate changers are now coming out and saying, oh, no, this is all a part of global warming. We're going to have a little pause, press the pause button, the mini ice age for the next 20 years, because of course they couldn't get away with the global warming scam. So now they're just going to switch it and say, and oh, by the way, these energetic earthquakes, that's a part of global warming. If we want to, that laptop spying scandal.
Yeah, let's do that in the next show because it's still evolving.
Still developing, yeah. And there was a UFO that crashed in Mongolia.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. There's a picture of it too.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Put in.
Two unknown disc-shaped objects crashed to the ground on the 19th of February near Mongolia, the capital Ulaanbaatar city. But they're small, because of course it's smaller aliens.
Frisbees.
No.
Oh, the little bitty dinky aliens that are ant-sized?
Well, no, one is 10 kilos, the other one is about 2 tons. And they look like they're kind of saucer-like. Well, they're damaged from the impact. And there's some YouTube videos, and it's pretty interesting. I'm all over it.
I bet you are.
Yeah. You still don't believe, do you?
Lewis.
No, you don't believe. Oh, well. I'll tell you something now, too. We've talked about the strange symbolisms at Denver Airport, particularly that crazy-ass horse, the one with the red eyes, the light up at night.
Yeah.
So they've just added Anubis. A huge
what?
Anubis. You know what Anubis is?
Yeah, besides being the character in one of the Stargate shows.
Yes. Well, Anubis is the Egyptian god of death.
Yes, Egyptian guy with a head of a duck or something.
No, not really. It's like a dog kind of thing. So they have the 30-foot tall blue Mustang, which of course has been the talk of the town ever since it was put in there. Now they're installing a 7-ton, 26-foot tall concrete sculpture of Anubis.
Why?
It's on exhibit June 29th through January 9th, 2011. It actually says here, the exhibit runs June 29th through January 11th, 2011. The Anubis will be standing guard during that time. Guard over what? The Egyptian god of death. I mean, are they just like messing with us?
Egyptian god of death.
Are they
standing guard? Do I want the Egyptian guard or the god of death at the airport?
Yes, right.
This is more of the train's bad or plane's bad. Train's good.
All aboard, train's good, plane's bad. Woo-hoo.
The Egyptian god of death.
Is at the airport.
Yeah, notice they didn't
put it. What are these people criminally insane that run this airport?
They didn't put it at Grand Central Station, you'll note. No, it has to go at Denver Airport. The thing is huge. It's 26-foot tall sculpture. Who comes up with this crap?
Yeah, it's a copy of the original, I guess. 7 tons. Right next to the main terminal to promote the upcoming King Tut exhibit. Hey.
Oh, is that what it's for? To promote the King?
Yeah,
King
it's
Tut
the Denver
exhibit?
Art Museum. By the way, they had the King Tut Museum at this.
It sucked. It sucked. It was horrible. It
totally sucks, and the line is a mile long. And now you have to buy tickets. It stinks.
It was like a facsimile of the actual exhibit in London.
There's an interesting little kind of foreboding. I'm going to read it from the same article on this Anubis character.
Yeah.
The Anubis is not far from the sculpture of the blue horse, called Mustang by Louis Jimenez. The artist was killed in 2006 when a large piece of the sculpture fell on him in his studio.
Yeah, I know. I think we talked about that. I'm laughing, but I'm not really that happy.
Just something weird about this whole thing going on in Denver. Get out of Denver, people.
So
it's radioactive anyway.
Do you remember, have you ever heard of Operation Blackjack?
No.
Because it would go along perfectly with all of this. Wait a minute, when is this thing on exhibit?
June 6th.
When does this thing go on exhibit, this Anubis?
I think it's there now.
It's already there now? So Operation Blackjack was supposed to happen June 22nd, 2009. As predicted, when was this predicted? There was like a big conspiracy meme running around. It was in a movie as well somewhere. Anyway, Operation Blackjack is when nuclear bombs are supposed to explode in, let me get the list for you. London, Los Angeles, Mexico City, and I think New York, and probably not Denver, because that's where they all hang out. So now this conspiracy is back that 2010, June 22nd, is when Operation Blackjack goes into effect, and the bombs will be popping off. Here it is: London, New York, Portland, Los Angeles, Toronto, and Mexico City.
And this is on June 10th, this coming week?
22nd. No, we
22nd,
have 14 days. Yeah, this month.
Oh, okay. Well, if I were you, then I would make the list of those cities and stay out of all of them.
Yeah. Do you think San Francisco will be safe?
Yeah, but it's not on the list. It's got to be safe.
Los Angeles is on the list. Don't you think there'll be some fallout?
From what? Yeah, there'll be tons of fallout. Everyone in the area will be killed.
They have a great picture on this page of, I guess, Anubis, the statue. This is crazy. They have a picture of Anubis and the Statue of Liberty in the background. Where the hell was this from? So they're tying this in somehow to this. Anubis is the symbol that Operation Blackjack is now going to take place. Oh, well, nice knowing you.
It's another date that will come and go, like the giant flying saucer that was supposed to land a couple of years ago in Brazil or something.
It wasn't going to land. It was just going to make itself, it was just going to appear.
Hover.
It was going to hover and make itself known. A girl can hope, can't she?
So, okay, so we have to assume, so the Blackjack thing reappeared. So that means a movie has to be coming out within the next 5 or 6 months, or maybe they'll be announcing it shortly, that has pretty much this kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So we'll keep our eye on it. So can we do the show at a normal time on Thursday?
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's do it at the normal time. But it won't be until next Thursday.
No, but we'll do it in the morning.
Yeah, absolutely, in the morning.
Okay.
But hello to Australia from afar.
And should we really plan a trip? I would really like to do that.
Well, let's start working on it.
Seriously.
Well, we got people that can help us.
Well, let's do the night rings first. What do you think?
I'm working on it right now.
Yeah, okay, right. Lovely to see on Dvorak.org/blog, something that I've been talking about for as long as this program has been on the internets. Photoshopped NASA images covering up obvious bases and other life forms that are out there. I mean, you can go ahead and read it. It's in the show notes, noagendashow.com. This is of Saturn's moons, and they've photoshopped it to hide stuff. I mean, all the moon pictures this is nothing new. It's like, oh, gee.
Oh, bro. Okay, now that you're mentioning, you brought it up. You brought up the aliens thing. We know that, this is a point, a moment of well, we have a disagreement on this. So the 13th of October
is when, they're already showing themselves worldwide.
Oh, really?
Yes, and someone very close to you.
Oh, wait, hold on. There's one across the street.
Excuse me, John?
Hey, buddy.
I promise I promise not to reveal the identity. But one of your family members has actually seen a UFO in the past week. and that family member emailed me about it.
I know the story. They saw, an unidentified object in the sky, probably a remote-controlled plane or something.
This person, who shall go unnamed, said, I saw a UFO, don't tell John.
Yeah, well, she did. She told me.
Oh, well, then why did she make it such a big secret?
She couldn't hold it because I was moaning and groaning about something, and I guess she couldn't maintain, her cool, and she had to tell me. So anyway, whatever the case is, the 13th...
Yes.
They're supposed to show up everywhere.
Yep.
And so what's Thursday? Thursday's what day?
14th, I think. Because it's a 10.
Yeah,
11,
okay. So it's Wednesday.
So on Thursday, we can talk about all the pictures.
So on Thursday the 14th, we can talk about how it never happened.
Okay. And if that doesn't happen, then mark down November 9th on your calendar. That is when the Large Hadron Collider goes full speed.
I thought it's already gone full speed.
Oh, no. They've been lying about that. I have an article here that literally says they've been lying about it. The 9th of November is when they crank that puppy up to full speed. And good riddance to you all.
9th. So then so what you're saying is November 11th. We probably won't be doing a show.
November 9th. November 11th, there will be no show.
Because we'll all be obliviated.
We'll be blown to bits, exactly. Anyway, I look forward to speaking with all of you and comparing notes on the ships that appear. And please also feel free, of those of you who have already purchased a ticket for the mothership, go to noagendamothership.com. You can see what the logo will look like, beautiful 3D rendering of your boarding pass. So those are forthcoming, those of you who are on the lucky 33-month boarding pass support system for us, for the show. And as you know, John is staying behind, apparently with Mimi now. She is not going along. So I guess you've subjugated her into believing your message that it's all bullcrap.
No, she wasn't buying my message.
But it's just us here in the universe, John. It's just us. It's just us, no one else. Coming to you from Gitmo Nation West at the Hilltop Watchtower Crackpot Command Center in the People's Republic of Southern California, where I wish I still smoked weed. I'm Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, where it is 10-10-10 day. Reminder to all those out there that so far this month it's been nothing but weird things happening, which is typical. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We appreciate your support. Dvorak.org/NA. Talk to you on Thursday, everybody.
News.
Whoa, big news, what?
They rescued the miners.
Which was completely planned as a distraction for the UFO unveiling worldwide.
Yeah, where was the UFO yesterday?
Everywhere. It was over New York City. There were tons of spheres and high-quality video for you, John. High-quality video. Germany, we have high-quality pictures. This is why they planned it. They totally planned this.
Planned it.
Yeah.
So by the way,
what do you mean? Yes.
Yeah. So where is our jingle? We haven't played it for months on end. Nothing to see here. It's not even queued up.
Now, you know what it is? I've said everything in the new system, and I'm still trying to figure out where everything is.
Don't look over here. Nothing to see here. Ooh, look at that.
So this, first of all, they are laughing in my face, the evil elites who schedule these miners. Could it be any more boring? The only drama they could put, at least have a guy like pass out or die or something on the way.
Well, they had one dramatic moment that sucked.
Yeah, that was the wife and the
wife who wouldn't show up.
I was like, who wrote this script? You guys suck.
And then meanwhile, all CNN, Fox, everybody, they kept having these boring. They take over the whole show, and you have to play this clip, which is the clip from yesterday's Hannity show. And he reintroduces the entire story as though we've never heard it before. So he goes yak, yak, yak. And so then he says, let's take it, let's go. And, apparently, I bet you they put the writers on hiatus and don't pay them for these shows.
Oh, well,
so then they say, let's go to Chile and hear from the president, El Presidente. And this is what you end up hearing. And this passes for entertainment.
But first, we're going to go to the president of Chile as he makes some public comments.
Is this their national anthem?
It goes on for 5 minutes.
They should have played our Gitmo national anthem. That would have been much better.
And the idiot doesn't say, well, they're singing a song where we'll get right back to that. Let's go to the studio and talk about this.
No, let's watch the song. It's great.
No, instead, they played the entire thing.
This is what I picked up. The Jeff Smith recorded this for me from Fox. Pay attention to the background music on this piece regarding the Chilean miners.
Come to the surface. You're seeing it live here on Fox and Friends.
Recognize that from anywhere?
It's like a sports theme.
It's our music. It's our music. Listen.
Every time it comes up, especially on a chilly morning like this, it does nothing but warm your body to see another doesn't get.
Here, it's this. Yeah, it's. They're so cheap ass they have to use the same free shit we use. That's ridiculous. But listen now for a second. So, seriously, in all seriousness, so October 13th was supposed to be the big unveiling of the UFOs, who absolutely came. Absolutely. And the show notes are filled with videos and high quality videos, John, what you always ask for, and pictures of these orbs orbiting New York City. We have pictures from Germany. There's multiple, it's all the same kind of beautiful orb. So this happened worldwide. And then, of course, everyone's not looking up at the sky. We're looking down at the ground. And then the Illuminati or whoever's in charge of making sure we don't pay attention to the sky, they laugh in my face by having all these memes in there, like it's 33 miners, they had to drill for 33 hours, 10, 13, 10 is 33. They're putting 33 everywhere just to say, no one will be looking at the sky. No, we will have everyone focused at the ground. You're not buying it.
Well, these little objects that you're talking about look like hot air balloons to me.
Oh, right. Of course they're hot air balloons. Do you know how hard it is to just fly something in the sky at that height in an area like New York City? You think that just happens? By the way, nothing showed up on radar, according to
of course
the
not.
FAA.
It's a plastic balloon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Right. Whatever. You can keep denying it all you want.
When they come down and land and say hello.
They never said they would come down and land and say hello. They said they were going to unveil. This is step one.
Who did they tell this to then if they never talked to anyone?
They told it to the guy who wrote the book about it.
Oh. Is there a movie coming out shortly?
Yes, there is. It's called Skyline. It's called Skyline.
Interesting movie, too.
It's coming out in a month.
You got a movie. What more could you ask for?
But I will say that regardless of the cover-up of the UFO unveiling, it is completely outrageous that our entire day is consumed by counting down how many miners we're bringing up through this shaft. It's just...
Oh, no, I can't argue with that.
It's nuts. And by the way, did you know that this is the copper mine that supplies NASA with all of their copper? That's why NASA built the capsule, which, by the way, looks like a ninth grade science project. That whole thing looked weird. The capsule, that flywheel.
Yeah, stupid flywheel.
Like they put it together.
I looked at that rig, and I said, "Is this the best they can do?" It looks like an old hobby horse.
It does, with like an old wagon wheel on top.
With a wagon wheel on top that was going slow, and the thing looked like it was going to break.
Yeah, and here's the thing that really irks me. So they've got a video from down in the cave, right? And they've got guys down there. They send guys down to help the guys up.
Right.
Well, how come the video is like see you, see me cam? chat roulette is better than that video. What is the deal? And I asked Miss Mickey, I said, why is that? Why can't they put like a high quality camera down there? She says, well, they're 2,000 feet under the surface. I'm like, that doesn't make any difference. We're like 2 miles with the horizon thing. They had better video from 20,000 leagues under the sea. What? Why does my connection work? Well, I'm on Skype. Are you telling me that NASA uses Skype?
I thought the video was a little peculiar.
It's very peculiar. No, I mean, this is not a slam against you, darling. This is an observation that bothers me.
They're critiquing the show on the fly?
Oh yeah. She gives me that look like.
Well, that's it for you.
What?
Nothing for you tonight, my friend.
Oh, she gives me the drunken goat look because I said that that she had heard that they made the goats drunk for the cheese, but I misunderstood. Just so no one thinks she's stupid. I'm the idiot, okay? This is the point. She wants everyone to know that Adam is the idiot, not Mickey.
Yeah.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing the beginning of the end.
In
the morning.
All right.
I'm the conspiracy guy this week.
Well, seeing as we had on the 17th, it's been a long. This was actually a tough one. I think we have our 4 days in between shows. Was it? Let me see. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, almost 4 days, really, when you think about it. And, of course, on the 17th, we had identical UFO sightings over Phoenix, Arizona, El Paso, Texas, Manhattan, Richmond, Virginia. Identical, daylight, high-quality video. And I figured, what can you say? All you can say is, it's some kids with balloons. So that means there must be a conspiracy of balloon pranksters out there. Or
there could be an underground. It could be a Facebook group.
Oh yeah, it's a Facebook group. It's a Facebook conspiracy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course it is, John.
That's what the kids can do nowadays. You're just kind of like your daughter.
How about you just admit that?
How about shooting these things down if they're and not only that, but they're stationary. This is what cracks me up.
Yeah, no, they're stationary. No, they're not just. Have you seen the video? Have you even looked at it, or are you so jaded you won't even look at the video now?
Well, you got me.
So if you actually would take some time, go into the show notes at noagendashow.com, look it out there, you will be blown away by, and by the way, all the mainstream news, and I have 2 reports, which I'd like to share with you, are all, they're not, now they're just like, well, okay, it's UFOs, hope they're friendly. And I swear to God, and they're just making fun of it, and they put in X-Files music. But let me play 2 clips before we get started. This is first of all, over Manhattan. I mean, clear skies, blue skies. Obvious that these are craft doing things
balloons,
balloons can't do this, John. This is not these balloons. Balloons are not capable of this type of formation and movement that they made. But they completely identical to what was seen over El Paso. This news report, local from El Paso, really sums up how real this is. Because of course, we have to then make fun of it. Here we are. Hold on.
Lights hovering above East El Paso tonight. What's even more strange, very similar lights were spotted in Manhattan just 2 days ago.
X-Files music.
Above the skies of Northeast and East El Paso tonight, a sight that was a little more than stunning. This is what one of our photographers, Ram Moreno, caught on video. One solitary light that appears to be falling in the sky. But that light suddenly breaks apart into 2, then 3 separate lights.
Yeah, this is what balloons do all the time. Particularly
these aluminum balloons that are not they're not made out of
and they go very fast. It's great how fast those aluminum balloons can go.
They'll fall, and then when they they break up or whatever, because they probably broke up already, and then they'll be maybe in pieces.
Right, and they have lights, so they have huge batteries on board these aluminum balloons. John, is that what it is?
They reflect the sun. Yes.
At night. They reflect the sun at night. Okay, this is a nighttime video.
Those lights then just freeze in the air and begin to hover. Eventually, a fourth light can be seen. Then the lights appear to be hovering and then moving in a strange pattern. Then they all disappear. We received a lot of phone calls into our newsroom tonight from people in the northeast part of town and on the east side, all of them wanting to know what was going on. And the descriptions from everyone calling basically the same. One caller thought a plane was falling. Another thought it was a meteorite.
So what would you do, John, if you were a good news organization?
Well, if I had seen this, I would have at least tried to find the remote control pilot or something. I would have probably followed up a little better than. I would have called the Air Force at least.
Okay, the report is not over. Thank you.
Others, though, said it looked like a UFO. Now, you want to get really creepy? Check this video out. Just 2 days ago, in the sky above Manhattan, people froze on the street there as they saw these 3 lights hovering in the middle of the day. And check this out. The 3 lights are close to each other, then spread out into this triangle pattern. Now, look at the patterns side by side. This from Manhattan and the other tonight in El Paso. I gotta tell you, they do look eerily similar.
So, let's do some investigative reporting.
Well, tonight we did talk with the El Paso airport spokeswoman. She says there were air show planes in the air tonight running through...
I love this. There were air show planes in the air tonight. Yeah. Now, as an aviator, I'll tell you that it happens all the time. We always practice close formation at night. It's very, very smart. It hones your skills amazingly. And we do it in whisper mode, too.
Wait. There is a kind. I don't want to be...
We do it in whisper mode.
Comment.
Yeah.
But the Air Force Thunderbirds have been known to crash a lot. And so maybe,
they did now, John, and they hover, and they were doing some great maneuvers.
Maybe they were in Harriers.
Yeah, we're silent Harriers that hover. But now listen to how these jabronis follow this one up.
Maneuvers, though she couldn't tell us exactly which crews were doing that. More exercises are going to happen tomorrow night as well.
It's like, and not only tonight are we doing these amazing silent Harrier lit close flyby maneuvers in the dark. We're going to do them again tonight, everybody. Just stick around. We'll be here all week.
Aurelia, I know you are a believer. That little green men were floating around above us.
Actually, we were more like joking about how they probably were in Manhattan and they were like, "Oh, these New Yorkers are too rude. Let's go somewhere nicer." Like,
headed south.
The New Yorkers are too rude. Let's just go somewhere else. Yeah, exactly.
All right, it's very funny.
So, but also over Richmond, Virginia.
Well, it may have something to do with the clips I have.
Hold on, listen to Richmond. Okay. I got Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond's fan district last weekend. No, it wasn't Mark Holmberg. People who live there want to know. Jonathan Martin from RVA TV gave us this video he shot last night near Floyd Avenue. There it is. It shows a strange little ball of light dancing in the air. Dozens of people reported seeing this unidentified shining object.
This is Richmond, Virginia. This is Spook Central. Why aren't the F-16 scramble to shoot this out of the sky?
Object in the fan area. We spoke with one of the witnesses.
Looked like a star. It was moving like a bug, real sporadic, very quick, and blinking on and off, almost kind of like a code, kind of like a Morse code type blink.
Yeah.
Witnesses we spoke with say the strange light was moving in the air for about 4 hours.
Yeah. Please don't investigate. Don't send any F-16s or anything. John, there's only 2 possibilities. One, truly, as predicted, a day or 2 late, but we had the whole miner thing that the miners were being saved, so the guy, the UFO is like, oh shit, we're being usurped again, so we'll just wait until the coverage is over, and then we'll come out. They do. As predicted, this is normally when these predictions come out, it's like, oh, they didn't feel like it, or it's not quite time yet, or you just didn't see them. But now it was simultaneously above multiple cities in the United States, the same formations, this exact same phenomena. So it's either real, or it's perhaps Project Bluebeam, but that's another... That's for another day. But I'm gonna
Project Bluebeam. So everybody out there that listens to our show has to go look this up now because you're going to save it for another day.
They don't have to look it up. It's in the show notes at noagendashow.com. But I'm willing to believe that this was real, particularly the way that listen to this response from And, in New York, they had a guy from NASA on. They had the spokesman from NASA, the what do they call
Space
him?
Agency, yes.
The Solar System Ambassador. This guy is so bad. It's like
he's what? The Solar System
Ambassador to the Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Hey, wait a minute. Who gave him this job? The Solar System or somebody on Earth? It's like the World Series.
They actually asked him that in the report. But so the guy is he's sitting there with his face. It's like, who can we put out there who can tell a bold-faced lie and no one will care if it turns out that he was a liar because the guy doesn't matter?
That in front of us right there, that man is Jason Kendall, and he has quite a title, Jason. The NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory Solar System Ambassador for all of New York City, whatever that means. It sounds very important. We just want to let folks know, though, at the bottom of the screen, there are all kinds of texts that people are sending in. I was actually reading some of them, their comments on the UFO sightings or whatever it may be.
Or whatever it may be.
That.
Right.
Good to have you with us, Jason.
Thank you.
So we're getting some feedback here, instant feedback
yes,
about
instant
what he's talking about.
Did you see what that was?
No, I didn't have the opportunity to see it. I live way up in Inwood in northern.
I'm the Solar System Ambassador. No one called me. They didn't knock at the embassy door.
Manhattan, so we didn't see it up there.
So you didn't see it. So here's what's happening today. There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there. They're
conspiracy theories
flying around.
There's no conspiracy theories.
There are conspiracy theories. Of course there are. This is network news. This is conspiracy.
What do you think they really could be?
Well, one thing's for certain. The first thing that they're most likely not is spacecraft from another planet.
Listen, I'm the ambassador. No matter what you say, one thing's for certain, what they are not is spacecraft from... This is unthinkable. Shut up, slaves.
It's unfortunately the case. They're most likely not that. My personal theory is that they're most likely balloons.
Yes, balloons! Kids on Facebook with balloons. Yes.
Prank by a kid.
Prank by a kid. These kids are pretty damn sophisticated. I'm hiring this kid. NASA should hire this kid if you've got a kid who can make a prank this elaborate in 4 cities at the same time.
There's other possibilities, too. They could be any number of things. It could be high-flying aircraft. They could be...
High-flying aircraft. Harrier jets.
Something coming in from orbit. They could even be very...
What? Something coming in from orbit, John. He actually said it.
What does that mean?
He actually said it.
Aircraft. They could be something coming in from orbit.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's something coming in from orbit. From a foreign solar system.
Like what?
Mr. Ambassador.
It could even be very, very high altitude clouds.
Clouds. Oh, yes, it's clouds.
Clouds, I'm not buying that.
Loosened clouds. But they do look, all the pictures do look very compelling and they're very interesting. And they do seem to be certainly flying.
I'm really happy that that's not.
This guy is the jabroni of all jabronis.
Life from another planet, and we're not being invaded, Jason.
Well, that would be good. I'm personally glad about that.
It's not a good time right now.
You know, as long as they're watching.
It's not a good time. We're not in a very welcoming mood. What do you mean? You're the ambassador. You should be there with open arms. Saying, hello, welcome. What else does an ambassador do? You host people from foreign solar systems.
Yeah.
If they want to come in, they watch us, that's fine.
So have there been similar...
as long as it's good for the ratings, right?
Sightings like this in our area?
To the best of my knowledge, no. I don't know.
Anyway, so let's just get the guy's title and then we're done with him.
Yes. I volunteer with NASA and Jet Propulsion Laboratory based out of Pasadena, and I do public outreach with them on NASA missions that are currently happening in space today. So,
yeah, and I lie for a paycheck.
We talk about lots of things all over town. I give talks and do uptown stargazing in Manhattan.
Yeah. How does he get that gig?
I don't know. I want it, though. I want to be the Solar System Adam Curry, Solar System Ambassador. Hello. Welcome. How you doing? Welcome to the embassy. I'll build a little landing pad here at the hilltop. Watchtower, no problem. So this is just real. Every single response, all the stupid answers, these jabronis they roll out, it means it's real. This was a real occurrence, and I strongly urge you, John, to at least take a look at the video. Because
all right, I'll take a look at the video. I'll check it out. I'll give it the once-over. I'll look it over good.
Yeah, you give it the once-over. You're such a non-believer.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody... Hello? Who's there?
I'm ready. Yeah, and unfortunately, California was completely, at least Southern California, completely clouded over. You couldn't even see the road, let alone something going on in the sky. I'm sure they were there.
Okay, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way.
Yeah, well, me too, John. You non-believer, you balloon boy, conspiracy theorist, denialist. You know how? Well, I certainly, but I think both of us over the years, as we've been doing this program, we've discovered that up is down, white is black, truth is false. Internet freedom means restrictions on free speech. If you just look at things upside down or backwards, that may be the truth. Would you agree that we've discovered this in many instances?
Yeah, in fact, there's even a woman out there, a British intellectual, that wrote a book saying the same thing, and she says everything is upside down.
So you can imagine my intrigue, maybe surprise, but intrigue when I received an email from one of our producers. And he said, I think it's time, and why I'll get into in a moment, that I explain to you about spiritual Satanism, also known as theist Satanism. And he sent me on a number of places to look to understand what this particular. This is not to be confused with LaVey, Levay Satanism.
Anton LaVey.
Yes, LaVey.
In this corner.
Yes, very big difference. These are the spiritual Satanists, the theist Satanists.
So is this guy trying to convert you?
Well, I'm going to get to that. I'll read this relevant piece, which I found interesting. Our belief, and I truly believe this after a whole crap ton of research, is that aliens created the human race. Everything before us, up to and including chimps, evolved much like everyone believes. However, humans were created as a hybrid between a gray and a chimp. If you think about that for a moment, it makes a ton of sense.
Oh, it makes nothing but sense.
Bear with me. All animals on the planet have far better immune systems than we do, are far less prone to disease, and live longer, comparatively, than we would without the aid of medical care. Why, if we evolved like everything else, did we lose all of those aspects? It would make no sense. In fact, it would be the exact opposite of evolution and selection. So then he goes into this whole thing. We were created strictly as a slave labor force for the aliens. And I verified, looked at all his websites and the Satanist Bible and everything to understand what he was talking about. So what he writes here, I don't have to paraphrase. It's kind of spot on with the belief. The entire idea was to create us, then wipe us off the planet in a flood. Well, we know how that happened. It didn't. So part of the plan did, in fact, fail. That does not mean, however, that we have no contact with our alien masters. In fact, we very much do have contact with the aliens, though rarely do we speak of them, or do they speak to them, they speak to us. This is where Satan comes in. Satan wanted to bring us, hold on.
Now the show's getting good.
Satan wanted to bring us to a more perfect state. Satan is actually a gray. He was fought by the other old gods.
Was he a gray named Satan, and that's the reason the deal is?
Yeah, and ended up getting chased into what we call hell to escape the other aliens that were trying to destroy him and his allies, known as the demons. In fact, the Bible brings this point up in Genesis when Satan appeared as a snake and had Eve eat the apples. Okay. So he goes in this whole...
like that.
Well, the whole idea is, John, that Satan is actually the good guy, and religion and God is all the aliens who are trying to suppress us and give us different religion to confuse us and invented the Tower of Babel so we speak different languages and make us angry and fight and have wars, etc. But that Satan is trying to really bring us back to the fifth dimension level that we belong in as intelligent human beings. I think you should stay with this idea. But here's the point. Here's the thing that I really liked.
You really liked.
He said the reason why he was telling me this is because Satan asked him to. Satan is aware.
Well, I'm glad. It's funny because they didn't put me on the BCC.
No, specifically, Satan is aware of me, likes what I'm doing.
I'll bet.
And he wanted me to know that Satan's listening. And give me
how about some donations then from Satan?
Well, this is what I said. I said,
cheap bastard.
Can I make a deal with Satan? And he said, yeah, no, you can make deals all the time.
Oh.
And I said, well, I got a great idea. I said, how about you drop a couple million on us and I'll propagate this formula forever?
There you go. Now you're talking. I want to see you make this deal.
So anyway, apparently it doesn't work that way. I know. First you have no, the way you can do the deals, but first you have to dedicate yourself to Satan. You can do it.
There's always a catch.
You can do it right-hand path or left-hand path. So right-hand path is white magic, and that would take. You can only do it after a year and a day. The left-hand path can be at any moment, and it basically it's the black and blue candles. You swear your allegiance to Satan, then you have to sign your name in blood. And
sign your name in blood on what?
I don't know what. He hasn't let me into the full rituals yet. And that can be done at any point, so that would be the consideration.
Well, I don't know. Go either way. Depends on what's the easiest. I know you don't like to work hard, so take the easy way.
How can we get the cash fast? I think
this is bullcrap. We're getting no cash. My experience with most of these operations, religious or quasi-religious or Satanist or whatever, they want the cash. See, that's the catch.
No.
You get the cash from them.
I don't think so.
They want the cash from you. You'll see.
Okay, I'll wait.
Cash always is outflow, never inflow. I mean, they promise inflow, but it never happens.
Well,
it's never from them.
I'm being positive and optimistic.
Yeah.
But
I should keep tabs on this.
Yes.
Do the Greys? This is a question you might be able to answer. Do the Greys still have sex with the monkeys?
I'll get an answer for you. Don't worry.
I'd like to know. Maybe they're still doing it with the monkeys.
Well, so the Greys and none of the aliens are good. Apparently, that's the whole idea. Is none of these aliens are all shite. They're all.
That's the way the Russians portray them.
That's all bad. But Satan is the good guy. And look, all I know is, wow, it wouldn't surprise me.
Why would it surprise you?
No, that's what I'm saying. It wouldn't surprise me.
So, okay, is that it with this piece of this? This is the best that you can do with the crackpot side of the show?
I think this is pretty important. When someone tells me that
I want a weekly update.
Yes, when someone tells me that Satan is aware and is listening and asked him to reach out to me, I feel it feels kind of like Harvey Weinstein is called.
Reach out to Adam.
No,
I'm listening.
I think it's almost like Harvey Weinstein sends a message, through Tom Cruise, and says, "Hey, that Curry, I'm aware of what he's doing. We could bring him into the big show business family."
I just want a bit part.
And I'm like, I'm with you, John. I'm like, make it rain, Satan, and then I'll sign my name in blood. I'm down with that. If you're the good guy, make it rain for me and my buddy John. But if I'm in, then I'm going to have to co-opt you.
Yeah. I have a clip. Since it's the second half of the show, officially, right?
Oh, hold on. No, not until we officially open it.
Attention all human resources. Now entering second half of show.
All right, second half of show.
I caught this on the History Channel, of course, which is all about aliens and Nazis. There's not much else on there.
Or
anymore.
The combination thereof. Aliens, yes. Nazis, and flying saucers.
Often is a combination.
Well, those were the flying saucers that went down to the South Pole were obviously Nazi warcraft. We all know this.
Yeah. Now, there was a little thing that came up with these waitresses that are living outside of Area 51, and they've been working there for 20, 30 years. And one of them describes and I figure I've got one of the great experts on space aliens. You almost met one once. You hope to, but you did, of course. You're like a world-class expert.
I am the oracle. I am the alien oracle.
I want to know if what this woman says is correct. She describes a variety of aliens that that some. Well, you can play the clip, and then I want to hear from you whether this is accurate.
Okay, here we go.
A lot of people have actually worked at Area 51, and they have told me that they worked with beings who were from another planet. And they said there's more than one kind.
A large and a small nose gray, a reptile, an orange, a blue, and the humanoids. I don't think that there's yet a complete story on what may be over that hill.
I mean, I'm obviously familiar with the grays and the tall blondes. Orange and blue, this is new to me.
Well, I'll go over them. A small and a large nose gray.
Yeah, okay, yes.
And then there's the orange and the blue and the reptiles and the humanoids. Now, the humanoids would be the blonde ones that you're talking about.
I would think that would be the tall blondes.
The reptiles, of course, would be the Queen of England and the royal family in Great Britain.
Well, just look at them. Hello.
And the orange and the blue is completely, I've never heard this either, so I thought you might know something.
I'm not familiar with the orange and the blue. I have a feeling, though, that we will be educated on this very quickly. I have a feeling.
Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, we will get some information very, very quickly.
Now entering second half of show.
Yeah. Second half of show.
Uh-oh.
I've been following this guy, Paul Hellyer. Paul Hellyer is the former Minister of Defense for the Scandinavians. Let me pull up his wiki page. Hellyer.
Hellyer.
Yeah, I've been following this, but finally I got a clip that is short enough and to the point enough. Longest serving current member of the Privy Council.
Ooh, the Privy Council.
Mm-hmm.
We need a Privy Council for our group. Oh, there's a guy.
For our intelligence network. Anyway, here he is on RT in a recent interview.
Why do you say that UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying over our heads?
Well, because I know that they are.
This is my kind of guy. I know that they
know that they are. Okay.
Yeah, and he really confirms everything I've always believed in.
We've been, as a matter of fact, they've been visiting our planet for thousands of years. During the Cold War, 1961, there were about 50 UFOs in formation flying south from Russia across Europe, and the Supreme Allied Commander was very concerned and about ready to press the panic button when they turned around and went back over the North Pole. So they decided to do an investigation, and they investigated for 3 years, and they decided that with absolute certainty that 4 different species, at least, had been visiting this planet for thousands of years.
That would be the grays, the tall blondes, and I'm not sure.
Didn't we have a clip of the guy who listed like 6?
Well,
remember that clip? Why don't you look up aliens and see if there's that clip that defines the different species? There's the grays and there's some green ones, and then there was some tall ones, and then there was something else, and I think there were 2 others.
Oh, yeah, yes, no, it was a clip that you had. You're right.
Yes,
John.
I had the clip.
There we go.
A lot of people have actually worked at Area 51, and they have told me that they worked with beings who were from another planet. And they said there's more than one kind.
A large and a small nose gray, a reptile, an orange, a blue, and the humanoids.
Oh.
I don't think that there's yet a complete story on what.
Well, that's bogus. Orange
sounds
and
right
blue
to me.
No.
So that's we have a long
this is the real deal here.
History of UFOs, and of course, there's been a lot more activity in the last few decades.
Listen up. This is very important information.
We invented the atomic bomb, and they're very concerned about that and the fact that we might use it again, and because the whole cosmos is a unity, and it affects not just us but other people in the cosmos. Exactly. They're very much afraid that we might be stupid enough to start using atomic weapons again, and this would be very bad for us and for them as well.
So the information that I have always had is that none of these nuclear weapons work at all. They are incapacitated by the 4 species of aliens who are protecting us and protecting the entire interplanetary universe. And since Nagasaki and Hiroshima, nothing has gone off.
Yeah, well, there's no proof of that, and there's plenty of evidence to the contrary. A, and B, if you read the Corso book, which apparently this Hellier character read, and he was less inclined to believe in any of this until he read Philip Corso's book, which I would recommend. It was very
What is the name of this? What is the name of this book?
The Day After Roswell. Right. Very good book, very entertaining. And Corso says that we've been, and you've said this on occasion, so your own opinions about this bull crap are contradictory, because you've said on occasion the same thing Corso says in his book, that we are in a war with the aliens.
I've never said this. This is not true.
Space wars. You've talked about
Space Wars is not with aliens. It's the Chinese, and we're shooting each other's satellites. Do you actually come to this show, or do you send someone else who makes up Israeli moon bases and stuff? I have never said we're fighting the aliens. I've never said that.
Well, I'm telling you what Corso says.
Okay.
Corso says we're fighting the aliens, us and the Russians, and most of the activity between.
I don't believe any of that. I don't believe that.
To do with putting weaponry out in space so we can. Apparently, these aliens have difficulty with certain magnetic stuff. That's why they keep crashing. Otherwise, they'd have taken over by now. And it turns out, I think Corso is correct. This guy is totally wrong. Where the aliens aren't our friends. Why would they be? It's dumb to think that. It's like, oh, the white man coming to help Indian. This is not going to be the way it works. And then Corso's argument I think is much better. This character, this Hellier guy, actually created a landing pad in St. Paul, Alberta, the town where all the money is. And it had it built as a Canadian centennial celebration. I'm reading from the Wikipedia, as a symbol of keeping space free from human warfare. The sign beside the pad, there's a pad there. The area under the world's first UFO landing pad was designed internationally for the town of St. Paul as a symbol of our faith that mankind will maintain the outer universe free from national wars and strife. The future travel in space will be safe for all intergalactic beings. All visitors from Earth or otherwise are welcome to take over Alberta, apparently, are welcome to this territory, and they're welcome to the town of St. Paul. So I'd be moving out of there as fast as I could.
I like it better when
I see it.
I like it better when I just did the alien stuff. I don't like it. Your version is no good.
My version is more believable.
Okay. Just don't accuse me of things I haven't said. I never said where.
Well, I thought you did. I was mistaken. I guess because sometimes when I roll my eyes, it actually makes me forget things.
Okay.
It turns out that's a known characteristic of eye rolling. Cool.
Well, they always ask me MTV stuff, which I really don't care about. I got my 10 stories ready. Hey, come over to the house. Look at Mickey. By the way, when I was in New York, wow, she redid my entire wall of fame. I have a wall of fame. She reframed photos. It's spectacular looking. Now you walk in, we have this room which has her stuff, my stuff. It's like New York Times articles that are hung up. I have how was that? Forbes magazine, Fortune covers, USA Today.
So some kid comes in there and they're going to blow his mind.
Not just pictures of me and Michael Jackson and Tina Turner, and it's impressive. And a couple of the gold records, the cool ones from Aerosmith and Jackson, and
It sounds like a celebrity's office.
Yeah, but it's a whole separate room, and it's really, really nice. And she did something else. She had the house cleansed.
Yeah, I think that's probably a wise idea.
And I'm.
Did she bring a witch doctor in?
Yes, she did. She brought in Deva, and they burned sage and did all this stuff. And apparently, in the studio, which is a casita, there was a ghost who was stuck here and couldn't get out. Who had some horrible, didn't die well, and was stuck here. And they worked, I think, for half an hour just to get the ghost out of the casita. And
you had a ghost in your studio?
Yeah, apparently. I feel much better now, though. I feel less,
That the ghost is gone?
Yeah. Yeah. And
this may have accounted for some bugs that you had in the system, remember? A couple weeks ago.
Well, no, this is the first thing I said. The dank, musty smell is gone. I think there was a ghost sitting there in the air duct.
And he was not much of a podcasting fan.
No, farting away. A farting ghost
Who knows?
So you got rid of the farting ghost.
Yeah, and everything does feel very nice and clean. I believe in this. I think this is a good idea. People should look into this. Okay. I think there's energy that sticks around. You don't even sound that skeptical. I think you're kind of on board.
I know the ghost stuff because Mimi's a big believer in ghosts, and we apparently had a ghost over at we had a duplex we own in Berkeley, and all the kids had seen this ghost. So I have to say, well, there probably was a ghost there. I never saw the ghost. I think this whole thing is nonsense, to be honest about it. But it's possible that there's something screwy that could happen worth, I don't know why or how. But there was a ghost over there, and it was, oh, yeah, the ghost. And it became like a part of the family, this ghost. And although they never set a table for him or her, you don't know. And there's all these reports of ghosts, so it's possible he had a ghost. Why not?
Yeah.
But, it'd be nice to know the backstory. Most ghosts have a backstory.
Well, this ghost is now gone, so we don't know.
Oh. Well, it's probably better not to have a ghost around.
Yeah, so I enjoyed that she did that, and everything is really good. And
your flying saucer stuff now, the show's back on track, the old-fashioned show.
There we are. We're good to go. And we made it through the entire show without talking about the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Okay, good.
I got a bunch of clips back, but I just want to use this one.
Good.
So I'm watching the Today Show, and of course they need to do something about Halloween because Halloween's coming up tomorrow. So you get a little. Yep. So they have Elizabeth Vargas and one of the other women that come on the show, and they go into a haunted prison. And the reason I clipped this is because this is a disgusting example of feeding the public strange nonsense that the public should not receive. And play this clip. This is the clip, which is Today's Show on Halloween, Part 1.
Yeah.
Listen to the little mumblings that take place that the two women, and I believe they're sincere, because this Elizabeth woman that's on I think it's Vargas, maybe it's not her last name, but the one newsreader that's on the Today Show is very sincere, pretty girl who is, I think, probably not the brightest light bulb. But just listen to this, and this is just disgusting in some funny way.
Parables over the years, including famous felons like Al Capone.
The prison was relatively kind to him and gave him some special treatment while he was inside.
But with every cell designed for solitary confinement, prisoners spent most days in complete isolation.
They thought this would bring out the best in people. Today, we know that it was more likely to drive them insane.
Eastern State is believed to be one of the most haunted places in the world.
Gave you the gloves so I could show you our death ledger. This is a handwritten list of every person who died in this building. There's more than 1,000 names in this book.
Gosh.
That's what they were in the prison for.
Yeah, manslaughter.
And then there's the cause of death over here. B5721 here, who was stabbed by another inmate. His cause of death.
Ooh, look at his eyes.
I know.
What is going on in this clip? What is happening?
They're going through a ledger, which is just a bunch of writings, and they look down the list. It's got a guy's name, and then it says murder, and one goes, oh my God, he was in here for murder. What do you think he was in there for? And they're going this. So there's two women now are scared to death because
of course, it's spooky.
It's spooky, and they're women.
Yeah.
And by the way, the meme about solitary confinement is interesting because this has become a extreme form. They're pushing this getting out of the solitary confinement kind of style of prisons in a big way, and I think it's just to get more prisoners so they can get them out of there, so they can put them to work in like factory environments to get more work out of them.
Well, that's a stretch.
I don't know.
But that's a stretch.
You don't think that they want to get more workers to get in prison systems?
No, we want more people on welfare to buy Chinese crap. What are you talking about?
There's that too.
So how much more do I have to play of this?
You got to play the screaming part.
Aaron Sagers, a paranormal researcher, has spent many hours within the walls of the prison.
This is death row. This is where they kept the baddest of the bad here at Eastern State. If you guys are ready to get ghosty, I brought a bunch of little goodies here, some gadgets.
So you've heard some creepy things among these walls.
I've heard some things that I can't explain, but it certainly sounds like words to me. Let me go ahead and play this one.
I killed her.
These These are old school.
They play this nothing, and somebody says, "I killed her." Did you hear anything in that clip?
Yeah, I heard my brain frying from.
Okay, let it finish then.
Spiritualist devices, dowsing rods. Hold them close to the top. Why don't you ask a question?
Spirits, please cross the rods and make yourself known. If you want us to leave death row, cross our rods. Tell us.
Oh, there you go.
I'm a little freaked out right now.
Jenna is out when it comes to the rods.
Oh my God! Sufficiently spooked from a possible encounter
Okay,
with
you can stop it now.
Yeah, I have to.
Now, you don't have to. This is the Today Show.
Mm-hmm.
It was just beyond me why they would show. This is like should be on cable.
Well, is there
on Ghost Hunters?
Is there a payoff?
No, there's no. Yeah, they do a post-visit interview, and the woman who's freaked out, the newsreader woman, it's the normal whatever her name is on the Today Show. She takes the rest of the week off.
But is the new pumpkin latte at Starbucks? That's what I really want to know.
That's a different part of the show.
Okay. No, we're not.
Obama bashers, you bashing Obama. Which Obama?
No.
You know those selfie pictures? I swear that's the second Obama.
All human resources. Now entering second half of show.
Wow. It happens not once, but twice in a week. You will recall John Podesta, counselor to the president.
John.
Yeah.
John Podesta.
He tweeted something very interesting.
He tweets.
He scores. Then he tweeted. Here we go. Finally, my biggest failure of 2014. He's left public service. Once again, not securing the hashtag disclosure of the UFO files. Hashtag the truth is still out there. Thank you.
What?
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think the Washington Post picked this up. And so that was his biggest regret is that he didn't open up the X-Files.
Is he just chiding the audience, or is it one of his assistants tweeting for him, or what?
No, the Washington Post checked it with him. And he what he famously did is he rejected a lot of Freedom of Information Act requests. And so that's now his biggest regret. Yeah, big talk now that you're out, dude.
Well, that reminds me, people should, if they want to get into this sort of thinking, they should go read the John Corso. I said the Philip Corso book.
Mm-hmm.
And see what you think. It's called The Day After Roswell. It's a very interesting read by a government official.
Yeah, you like that book, I know.
Have you ever read that book?
No, I have to read it now.
You'd love that
What's
book.
it called again?
The Day After Roswell.
Okay, and who wrote it?
Available on Amazon.
Yes, and who wrote it?
Corso, Philip Corso, who used to be one of the Army executives in the Army, high up in the Army.
Got it. Nice. Attention, very close attention. Words matter. What people say. The president was on Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Yes, I meant to record this. I missed it completely. But then again, I've seen so much of the president on these shows that I find it like that. Talk about a waste of time. You can, if you got a clip out of this, I win the show.
Yeah, kind of. I got a clip.
Now entering second half of show.
Just. Because when the president makes jokes, he's still saying things, and the way he was saying it with some sincerity. I just want to have this in our show for posterity, so that we can go back and say, well, I had my suspicions about this.
If I was the president, and it's unlikely that is ever going to happen.
You never know.
If I was the president,
it was unlikely that I was going to be president.
The moment I was inaugurated, my hand would just, it'd still be hot from touching the Bible, and I would immediately race to wherever they have the files about Area 51 and UFOs, and I'd go through everything to find out what happened.
Right.
Did you do that?
That's why you will not be president.
That, by the way, was a setup joke. That, at least that was obvious to me. To you?
No.
I thought
Obama can.
He's good, but I think that felt like,
with the best of them.
He's very good, but I thought that that was scripted.
What you would do?
The
aliens won't let it happen. You reveal all their secrets. They exercise strict control over us.
Now, there are a lot of people that are going to examine your facial expressions here, every twitch, everything, and say, and of course, so did you look? Did you see? Did you explore?
I can't reveal anything.
Oh, really? Because President Clinton said he did go right in and he did check, and there was nothing.
Well, that's what we're instructed to say.
It was worth it.
All right.
It was worth it. Amen. Fist bump.
Yeah.
Wow.
I always want to just, keep that on file.
I think, you may be right on, because he may be just, that was actually quite interesting.
That's the way I saw it.
And it's funny that of all these assholes who do these shows, that Kimmel, who I think does the best show, by the way.
Oh, really? Really? I don't...
I'll tell you why, because Kimmel has because everyone has these stock gags that they like to do.
Yeah.
Kimmel's stock gags, where he goes out in the street and asks some stupid questions, that thing where he does the unnecessary censorship. He has a bunch of these. They're all the best. They're all much better than anything Letterman's ever come up with.
Oh, yeah, I think Letterman's lost it. Yeah, he's lost it.
That what's his name does, Fallon.
Fallon's sometimes good.
I find
there's a lot of production.
Laughs too much stuff.
Well,
nothing is that funny.
Anyway, why are we even discussing this?
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
What I was trying to finish, I just threw that as an aside, is of all these guys who have had Obama on, none of them have ever asked this question.
No.
About Area 51.
This is also ABC, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's his favorite network. All his buddies are at ABC.
I just thought it was interesting that somebody asked the question. I think it was a good catch.
But anyway, even though I'm renting this place, good news. I brought in the witch doctor, Deva, and she came to do a clearing of the place. Had I told you about this?
No.
This is the second time she's been here.
What, ghosts?
Entities.
You have entities.
Yes. It's very normal to have a house clearing, John, with some sage and some dragon's blood, and she walks around and both times when she walked into the second bedroom, and the reason why is Christina said she didn't feel right in here. I said, okay, I'll have the witch doctor come and she'll clean it out. And she gagged when she walked in.
Oh no, evil spirits!
Not necessarily. She said it was this negative, real heavy energy around the studio portion.
Well, that's where you sit.
Well, that's where I stand. Yeah, and I said, that makes total sense. The signals come in, I'm projecting it out, it's all about evil people. And she said, oh, we'll have to do a lot of work here. But anyway, that's not the cool thing. The cool thing is, in my bedroom, above my head, she says, oh, wow, there's a portal.
Oh, wow. She used the words, oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That's witch doctor speak. Yeah, she says the portal. And it's it's going in the right direction. It's taking energy up, so at night I can go through the portal and be recharged. I knew you would mock me.
Of course, who wouldn't?
Well, let me tell you, stuff is happening. I woke up this morning and I finally had the title for my book. It just hit me, so I know the portal's working.
Okay.
Pipelines and pedophiles.
Pipelines and pedophiles.
That would be the perfect title for the book.
Maybe I think you got it. You nailed it.
Maybe I got to work on the portal a little bit.
Amen. Fist bump.
Oh, man.
Pipelines, pedophiles, and portals.
Yeah.
Now entering second half of show.
That's right. Second half of show. I've been following this guy for a while. He is the former Canadian defense minister in the 60s. Paul Hellyer is his name. Ever heard of this guy?
Actually, yes.
Have you seen any of his comedic stylings?
No.
He was on RT with the Shevardnadze, Sylvie Shevardnadze, who I love her. Man, do I love she. Do you think she's related to the Shevardnadze? He must be, somehow.
As far as I'm concerned, that's marinated fish.
So Sophie, she's just super cute, and she does this interview in a mocking voice.
How do you spell Paul's name?
Hellyer. Hellyer. Paul Hellyer. Former Minister of Defense for the Scandinavians. And he has been very vocal about the existence of UFOs and aliens on the planet for decades. Actually, in this, I think he says they've been here for thousands of years. And it's like a 40-minute interview. I pulled out 2 clips that I thought would be relevant, both a little bit over a minute and a half. Perfect for the second half of the show. And well, let's see if we can make up our mind about this guy.
The Honorable Paul Hellyer, former Minister of Defense of Canada, and he believes that life forms...
You know, I would love to go on a date with Sophie, but she's got to shut up, because we're just tone it down. Can you imagine? I don't want the stroganoff!
From space exist and are present on Earth. Why do you say that UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying over our heads?
Well, because I know that they are. They've been, as a matter of fact, they've been visiting our planet for thousands of years. And one of the cases that would interest you most, if you give me 2 or 3 minutes to answer, is during the Cold War, 1961, there were about 50 UFOs in formation flying south from Russia to across Europe. And the Supreme Allied Commander was very concerned and about ready to press the panic button when they turned around and went back over the North Pole. So they decided to do an investigation, and they investigated for 3 years, and they decided that with absolute certainty that 4 different species at least had been visiting this planet for thousands of years. So that's we have a long history of UFOs, and of course there's been a lot more activity in the last few decades since we invented the atomic bomb, and they're very concerned about that and the fact that we might use it again, and because the whole cosmos is a unity and it affects not just us but other people in the cosmos, they're very much afraid that we might be stupid enough to start using atomic weapons again, and this would be very bad for us and for them as well.
Are you cracking paper?
It was just a water bottle being smashed.
He goes on talk about a lot of different things. And what was interesting, the entire interview, the whole thing, everything he said was stuff that I had read and researched early on. Because I obviously believe this. I believe that it would be stupid not to think it's a possibility. Just a lot of space out there. Now, I was always aware of a couple of different types of aliens. We have the tall blondes, which he actually calls something different here. The grays, as you know, I was introduced to a tall blonde, which was kind of, didn't really impress me.
You're a tall blonde.
Yeah.
And I've had my suspicions.
Maybe that's what the portal will teach me.
The portal.
There are actually 80 types of aliens.
I used to think there were, between 2 and 12. And Apollo astronaut Edgar Mitchell, who came to Toronto a few years ago and had dinner with us, agreed that it was somewhere between 2 and 12. But the latest reports that I've been getting from various sources are that there are about 80 different species. And some of them look just like us, and they could walk.
They're playing some video under him with the soundtrack way too loud.
Down the street, and you wouldn't know if you walk past one. And they're what we call the Nordic blondes, and also the tall whites.
So he's talking now the Nordic blondes and the tall whites. I think I would be more like a tall white.
That would be you.
That would be me.
Who were actually working with the United States Air Force in Nevada. They're able to get away with that. They had a couple of their ladies dressed as nuns went into Las Vegas to shop, and they weren't detected. And I have a friend who saw one of the men walking along the street, and somebody who would recognize that they were different, and he did. So there are those kind, and then there are the short grays, as they're called, and they're the ones that you see in most of the cartoons. They have very, very slim arms and legs, and they're very short, just a little over 5 feet.
Ryan Seacrest.
And they have a great big head and great big brown eyes.
Pat Sajak.
If you saw the short grays, you'd certainly know that there was something up that you'd never seen before. But if you saw one of the Nordic blondes, well, you'd probably say, "Oh, I wonder if she's from Denmark."
I think I was married to one of those.
Well, that's an interesting clip. So where are you going with it? Let me say something before you answer that. If people want to read an alternative history that I think is the most fascinating of all these books, because the guy who wrote this product has nothing but creds. I mean, he's very credulous. He's very credible. Not credulous, credible. This is the Philip Corso book. You can get it as an ebook. It's Philip Corso's The Day After Roswell. And his argument about all this is that we're actually, which counters your concept, we're actually at war with these jokers.
Well, he does mention that there are two species that we may be hostile to us, and the rest are all just leaving us alone unless we start lighting up nukes, which is all stuff you can read online. I mean, it's like the guy spent 8 years researching, just
it sounds like he's been online too much. This guy,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Now,
all right,
but I think all parents should allow their children the freedom to transition to the alien they are. So if your child is showing, hey, come on, how come we can't deny that? Your child seems very interested in levitation. Yeah, let them become the tall. What's it? Tall white? Is that what he called them?
Tall white and the blonde.
The Nordic blonde. Yeah.
This would explain the extra bone in the vertebrae of certain long-necked women from the Scandinavian and Nordic countries.
Oh, tell me, I didn't know this.
Oh, yeah. A lot of Scandinavian and Nordic women have an extra bone in their neck. This is a count. There's so many of these vertebrae. Some people have more than others. But there's an extra bone notably in the neck of some of these women, and it makes them look their neck looks longer, and it makes them very attractive.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, it could be maybe because of alien genes. I don't know. Why would you have an extra bone in your neck?
I don't know. But I'm very open to this, and I shall be working on it in the portal.
Good. We need to get more of this stuff back. People have been. Now this is a fact. People have been complaining about the show not having enough of this sort of material. Oh, you guys used to talk about all this interesting alien stuff, even though it's bullcrap. It was very interesting and entertaining. They say this in the note with that voice.
Yeah, exactly that voice.
Every time it comes up, I see that. Well, it's not that easy to come up with the stuff that's new.
Well, you can just repeat it over and over again.
It's old crap.
I'm always open to this. Yeah, I brought up
if you find new material about the aliens. Yeah,
of course,
run it.
Of course. Well, we had the guy who said he had seen the spaceship at Area 51, and the president told him not to talk about it. Who just died? There's people like that. So this could also be Project Blue Beam, which is a fun conspiracy that is often discussed, where we will introduce, and this would fit perfectly with President Hillary. She will introduce us to the.
She doesn't sweat, you know. She could be an alien.
Neither does President Obama.
He doesn't sweat?
Don't you remember that?
Well, I remember Hillary not sweating, and so she never sweats.
Oh, hold on a second. With my new super duper. Let me see. Yeah, it was. I think wasn't it Reggie?
Reggie Love.
Wasn't it Reggie? Let me see. Reggie.
He's talking about that Obama doesn't sweat.
Yeah, and he was in the car. Yeah, don't you remember that? He said he was in the.
It's almost coming back to me, but I don't remember it.
Yeah,
if you have the clip,
I don't. This may not even be on this machine. These clips. Let me see. If I just look at sweat. No, I don't have that. I'll look for it for the next show. But Reggie Love said that the president would have the either air conditioner off. It would be 85 degrees in the Beast in the presidential limousine, and the president wouldn't break a sweat at all. Don't you remember this?